Hello, everybody, and welcome to Final Show Films. I'm John, your executive producer here, and thanks for tuning in to watch or listen to whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to. In these trying times, we really do appreciate everyone that feels that we are worth their time, and we hope that we're able to give you something entertaining to while away the time as you spend it. We particularly want to thank those of you that feel like we're worth financially contributing to, particularly our $25 and up supporters on Patreon, who are Antitonic, Drevian Alexander, Cat Waterflame, Rowan Parker, and Samantha Bates. Yes, I read that off of a list. Thank you very much for supporting us. I know that in these uncertain times, finances are tough for everybody, so that you're willing to donate to us means a lot to all of us here, and we thank you. That being said, please sit back, relax, and enjoy. We're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran, Terra, Shadowfront. I am John. I'm your game master for the evening. Joining me today is Nikki.
Hi, it's me, Nikki. I just woke up from a nap. I have tea, and I am your goblin today. Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter. Wear your fucking mask.
What's the name of your goblin?
No one needs to know that.
Lunky.
The people listening to the audio do.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. His name is Scuzz. His name is Scuzz Buckets. He's a butter child.
All right. And also William.
Hi, I'm William. I'm playing Valdez Stonebeard, the Dwarven Samurai, and I'm still utterly confused as to why Apocalypse is just Marvel King Arthur.
And Jeremy.
I feel like you timed that. Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Ariel, a smart gunslinger, and I could explain that, but the stream won't be done. Will be done before I am.
I was going to say, we don't have that kind of time.
I will happily explain that to you later, William.
Jack.
Hey, everybody. I'm Jack. I'm playing Gentmanar, the half-elf spellslinger, and I'm the iteration of Mr. Sinister that does appreciate capes.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron, and I am playing Carolina the Barbarian. DC, despite time travel fuckery, is still better than Marvel.
And Mara.
Nope.
Oh, apparently we're starting a war. Okay.
This war has been burning a long time.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Titania Velcorian, Eladrin Druid Princess.
Cody will not be joining us at the moment because his internet has decided it does not want to work. But if it decides it do want to work at some point in the future, then he might hop in. Who knows? When last we left off, Gent received his inheritance. And so we turned back to the house where everyone else is. Gent and Carolina got up fairly early to head up to their meeting with the Geists in Day. So the rest of you sort of had a lazy morning, waking up at whatever pace you desired. However, at some point, all of you were awoken, if you weren't already, to the rumble of thunder and the crackling of lightning as the rainy season in Tehran begins.
Oh.
Distant thunder rumbling off in the distance.
Perfect time
Rain
of year.
coming
Dang
down,
it.
pelting the roof and walls of the house.
Well, I had one plan.
Titania, do you still want to work on your garden?
No, Scuzz, that's all right. Thanks.
Okay, I'm gonna go dig you some ditches so we
Ariel.
don't flood your garden.
Make a perception check for me as you're in your room at the moment.
Okay, hold on just a second, because I did not open up my character sheet yet. I was in roll 20.
Nice.
Did it.
Do.
Also, Valdeth, make a perception check.
Sure. 18.
26.
Amidst the torrential rain that you are hearing, from outside, both of you hear a sudden, smaller drip sound that draws your attention to, respectively, if you're looking on the map, the upper right-hand corner of Valdeth's room and the lower right-hand corner of Ariel's room, where there is a leak coming through your ceiling.
That's probably from the fight with the elemental on the roof last night. Yesterday morning. Time has no meaning.
Or the squirrels.
Well, okay, so to clarify, where is it?
There is a leak just above your, actually coming in just in the corner above your door, Ariel.
Okay.
And Valdeth in the corner opposite your door, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Opposite on the same wall.
yeah, on the same wall but opposite.
Oh, damn it.
Hey, Val.
Valdeth leans out of her room. Yes?
You want to go on a date?
Sure. What do you have in mind?
Well, I was gonna go outside. I don't know how you will feel about that right now, but you know.
Honestly, the rain is pleasant to me.
Sweet. It's your roof is leaking. Oh boy.
It is. Gonna need to get that
Oof.
fixed.
So's mine, by the way.
Oh, is it big enough?
I open up my door.
How big is it? Like the whole.
It's not. There's not a visible hole. It's coming in through the joining areas where the roof joins with the wall. There's
Okay.
a leak dripping down.
Got it.
Notice out in the hallway, you also notice a slight puddle of water coming out of the utilities closet.
There's a few leaks in the roof right
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
I could go
I think
check.
we're moving out soon, but
Yeah, you could just put a bucket under there.
how long does the monsoon season in Terra last?
Give me a nature check, Titania.
Sure.
See if
I'm
you've
great at
paid
those.
attention at all. So residents of
8.
Taram know that once it starts raining, sort of mid to late fall, it doesn't stop until spring, basically. Like
It's gonna keep
it
going
rains
for a while.
and then it snows.
It's just gonna kind of get colder.
Indeed.
So buckets probably won't solve the problem.
No, this needs to be fixed.
Scuzz is like, you called?
I'm trying not to. I feel like she's gonna just like, what? I didn't do it.
On the upside, Valdeth looks at Titania. Do you have any kind of simple wood shaping magic that could probably just plug a leak?
I've been practicing. I can try. If it's not too big. Be back in a second. I'm gonna. You said there was a way up onto.
Yeah,
the
there's like a
roof
ladder
last
up to the
time.
roof. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm gonna go up
up through the
the
stairwell.
ladder.
You go up to the stairwell, and there is a 1.5 foot in diameter hole in the roof
Oh, that's real big.
where there
Was
is
that
just
big
water.
yesterday?
Where there is just water pooling in.
That's not good. Well,
How's it looking up there?
it's okay. I'm gonna try.
I would like to roll an insight
Go ahead.
roll.
Rather than having Titania roll anything out, Titania, what's your passive deception?
Passive deception 10 plus.
So 10 plus your deception modifier.
12. So 12.
So 12? Yeah, no, she lying.
I'm not a great liar. I'm gonna try and.
I just look over at Valdeth with just this stone expression that very clearly communicates.
All right, I'll go grab a plank.
It said it was how big?
About 1.5 foot in diameter.
Dang it. Slightly too big. Can I try and repair part of it with mending?
Uh,
It's Mending is a foot in any dimension.
You cast mending.
Yeah.
And the sort of broken, like slightly singed and torn edges of the hull now perfectly smooth. The hull's still
Sweet.
there, but the edges are no
Cool.
longer frayed and frazzled.
Won't get a splinter. This is good. All right. Well, let's see here. What do I got?
Valdeth will bring up a large set of wooden planks from the workshop.
Okay.
You can climb up there, and you can also see, and also like looking down into the hull, water has gathered. There is standing water in your attic crawl space.
Valdeth look down at it. You want to magic that out of the attic so that we can put these boards here?
I can't do that.
Can.
Wait, you can, Scuzz?
Sorry,
Hi?
what?
Prestidigitation. Once the hole's clogged up, I can go around and get the water gone.
Okay, I can decompose.
Very slowly. Killing myself.
Let's just work with some buckets and mops, shall we?
Hold off on that.
You are working with the buckets. I did it.
Wow.
Are you guys happy?
Proud
Mad
of
at you now.
Okay. All right, Titania, you want to help me get these set in?
Sure.
Go ahead and give me a just give me a smith's tools with strength.
Advantage because assistance?
Yeah,
I don't need it.
Titania's giving you advantage.
32.
Yeah, no, you very easily can patch the hole with some spare wood.
I love how Gran Terra has suddenly turned into Taram Makeover Home Edition.
So yeah, you've patched the hole. The leaks are still there because there's standing water in the crawl space, but
Yeah. Go up there with
We'll
some.
stop eventually, right?
As soon as all the water gets through it.
Yeah.
Ithram will offer and then use shape water to just spit the water out magically.
Yeah, I knew somebody had that.
Yep. Not Titania.
So what you're saying is Ithram knows the shape of water?
Yes.
But not the colors of the wind. Anyway,
I mean, you could look and see.
Scuzz
The
is going
spell
to help
predates the
by
movie.
casting. Oh, sorry, Aaron. He is going to cast prestidigitation, like he wants to.
Okay.
Look, he's.
Uh,
He's. I know.
you take
I know.
take 1 point of damage. You get another level of exhaustion,
Yes.
and you dry some of the water.
My nose
Scuzz.
is bleeding again.
You would have.
And now he's gonna go take a nap. That's all he
You
does.
would have
for the entire
recovered.
day.
You would have recovered a level of exhaustion from your long rest, so you should only be. At
Oh,
1 right
okay.
now, yeah.
Perfect. Cool. I was like, did we take a long rest? My character sheet does not show that we took a long rest.
Yes, you took a long rest because it's the next day.
All right. Well, that's fixed.
What do you want to do?
Don't have much time.
That took not very long at all. What do you want to do?
It's
That would take
just
about an hour,
ages.
basically.
So I was thinking if want to go out and shapeshift with me.
I don't. You know what? If you can cast the spell
What do
on
you
me,
want to
sure.
turn into? Or you could shapeshift and I could just ride along, or there's many options here. I can turn you into something. Hang on.
Sure.
Real big.
Why not? This is going to be a brand new experience.
A whole new
CR. What's your
world.
current level? 9.
Ariel, who's just sort of been standing there, just walks away like, yes, this won't end in tears at all.
Are you
I mean-
going
Pretty
to
much
cast?
any
Are you
beast
going
that's
to
not a dinosaur, huh?
question?
Yes.
Are you going to cast the spell on the roof, on the second floor, or
Not
outside?
on the roof. We haven't decided what we're still deciding this thing. So, what do you want to turn into? What do you want to do? I can turn into something I can turn you into anything pretty big. I can turn into smaller things, but flying, swimming.
I honestly having never been an animal,
Yeah.
have no clues.
Okay. First off, it's real fun. Second off, what do you want to do while we're in animals?
In an animal form. I need to clarify
In an
that
animal
sentence
form.
because all you said was in animals.
Okay, thanks.
So
I mean, you're not going to be able to think a whole lot.
That's to say, the mental stats of the animal that I'm taking.
Yeah,
Honestly,
which is kind of fun.
so I need to look up the creature type of a thing real quick because it's either a beast or a monstrosity. I
Yeah,
need to confirm
beast.
which.
And CR9 is the limit.
You could be a sperm whale. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, yeah. So that one's a monstrosity, but the other one is in fact a beast. Okay.
While it is raining sheets outside, the rain is not consolidated so much that you would survive very long as a sperm whale.
Darn it.
So, actually, there's something I've been curious about. One of the symbols of one of the noble families of my home, and also in the name of our current High King, one of our houses is House Wolfsfang, who are hunters and are gatherers on the outside, and our king is currently High King Brynjar Wolfstrand. I'm very curious what it's like just wandering as a direwolf.
Okay. We're gonna come back with food, everyone. If we run into trouble, I'm gonna shape some clouds, so just keep an eye out a window that direction. Bye! Head out.
Okay.
Outside of the city, because I don't want to cause
Good thinking.
mass chaos.
So you head out to the city. You head outside the city
Mm-hmm.
and spend some amount of time as a pair of direwolves, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Go hunting.
For, an hour.
Okay. Ariel and Skuz, what you guys doing after they left?
Skuz being the most helpful, precipitating the upper floor dry, goes to take a nap because he is exhausted. He's like, I've been overworking myself a little bit. I'm gonna go take another nap, and he's gonna go lay down.
Probably
yes,
a good
please
idea,
do that.
Ithram says.
Please do that. Just me at this point in the house.
Yep. I mean, Ithram's around, but he's studying scrolls and writing things down and doing wizard shit. You know.
I would like to engage in a deep, in-depth conversation about personal character desires and growth with Ithram. No. No, I will. He goes in the lounge and just decides to do some reading.
All right. Meanwhile, Carolina and Ghent.
Yep.
You're riding in an air cab.
Gent's attuning to a cloak.
Yeah, and everything else I have put back in the bag before explaining.
Yeah. The rain has begun coming down while you were in the air, which is a very interesting experience for it to suddenly be raining this hard while you're flying in basically an invisible box. And you sort of see the rain sort of begins just coating the air cab in sheets, and you can't see anything. You're curious how the driver is seeing anything, but the driver is sitting ahead of you in that sort of walled off compartment with like a pair of what look like earmuffs on, but they have like electrical bits hanging out the sides, and he's just sort of bobbing his head.
Some sort of is it radar?
I'm pretty sure is it radio?
No, I mean for them to
Yes.
be able to see things.
Oh yeah.
When
I mean, the mail gets where it's going by itself, so I assume that this is similar principles.
when you hear a whistle very clearly inside the cab, and then you suddenly feel the cab begin to descend.
This is a thing
Is that an
might
emergency
be aware
thing?
of given my job title.
No.
Okay. This ever run into this before?
Can I make like a history check or something?
Sure, give me a history check.
Okay. Make sure I'm not on an advantage or anything. There we go. Boop. 16.
You have never heard of this happening before in an air cab.
I'm uncertain.
The air cab parks on the ground. You still can't tell exactly where you're at right now.
What's the driver doing?
Driver's just sitting there, looking around. And as the driver does that, a figure approaches and sort of steps through the wet and rain into the air cab and takes a seat. You recognize the large mechanical right leg and very obviously mechanical left arm of Koenig
Oh, hey!
as he sort of dusts off, sort of flaps out his cloak, leans back. Hello there, young Geralt and Carolina. He says as he leans back and just sort of taps on the invisible wall between the passenger seats and the thing, and the air cab lifts off and flies away.
Gent gives him like a little bit of a wave, very clearly with the Minar signet displayed on that side.
Does this mean we're no longer playing games and I can refer to you by your real name?
More or less.
Very good. Carolina, I've come to give you some very good news.
Oh?
From our reports and our observations of your activities, and the activities of those whom you have been assigned to follow, shadow, and protect, the determination has been made from on high that your training is done, and you can assume the full position, responsibilities, and rank of a Geist. Congratulations.
Thank you.
He says as he reaches into his cloak, pulls a little like metal badge out of it, and tosses it towards you.
Take it.
Now, the Geist badge has many wonderful functionalities that your trainee badge does not have. For one, if you blow into it, it will summon the nearest air cab, which is how I managed to ground your air cab so effectively. Sorry for the scare. I know this is not something we usually use, but it is useful, particularly when you need to get somewhere in a hurry. You only get one per day, though, so use it wisely. Any air cab grounded this way will have its fee waived for you as a Geist who needs to commandeer it immediately.
Dope.
Also, it gives you access to many places within the city. Do not abuse it, or I will have to kill you. He says that in a joking manner, but you know he's not joking. And secondly, you have a mission. Your very first as a Geist. As you both are aware, and as your company is aware, Geists typically operate strictly within the boundaries of Terra. This is a lie that we perpetrate in order to keep the public happy. We operate throughout the entirety of the Empire. We have authority throughout the entirety of the Empire. In particular, one town. He sort of pulls a sheet of parchment out of his cloak, opens it up, and sort of hands it to you, and it's just like it's a small map of the thing. The town of Vlatki, south of Grifftop, has recently, it's been reported, as he hands you and you sort of see where it's sort of circled on the map, it has recently been reported, has been overrun with a scourge of undead creatures. Your mission is to go to Vlakti and determine the source of this undead outbreak and deal with it. Also, to retrieve an item that has been reported in the hands of a mysterious figure seen in the town prior to the undead outbreak. He pulls out another piece of parchment and hands it to you. The parchment is, or sorry, the next one is sort of it's a color drawing of what appears to be some sort of goggles of a mechanical design. They are. Find the image real quick. They are it's sort of like a leather strap that has metal buckles on the sides for adjustment, with a sort of a telescoped one telescoped eye on one side, on the right hand side, and then a much shorter, squatter magnifying eye on the other side, with arcane runes sketched into the metal and the leather. These particular
Are the sketches of the runes clear enough that I can determine their purpose or nature?
No.
Okay.
This visor was reported by one of our shadow agents in the town at the time, as being on a unknown individual who entered the town prior to the undead outbreak. I'm not sure how much either of you know about the planar co-positioning that brought us so many wonderful toys from another plane many, many years ago. The official story is that only Gran, Terra, and one other plane overlapped at the time. This is not true. There were according to our diviners, or the diviners of the time, a grand total of 7 or 8 planes overlapped simultaneously in this co-position. Many things fell into our world from these other planes at that time. According to our records, these goggles are one of those things. Now, we do not know precisely what it does. We do not know precisely what its nature is. However, you are to retrieve it, identify it, and if it proves useful, it will be part of your Geist allotment. Of course, you also are to deal with the undead menace that is occurring in the town at the same time. And obviously then report back. Have you gotten all of that? I'm not going to repeat it.
Yes. I assume that the basic details are free to be shared with my Griffin company, given...
Of course. I would not say anything in front of Ghent that you could not share with the rest of your party.
That is... Carolina bites her tongue because Ghent is a lord now! And I can't diss him in front of my boss!
You're a Geist. You absolutely can now.
We'll be discreet.
You have more authority than Ghent does now.
I don't think Carolina's realized that yet.
And thank the gods.
I was going to say, Gent's certainly not going to disabuse her of that notion.
Of course, as previously stated, Geists who abuse their authority are dealt with. So,
Right.
Also, I'm only above Ghent until Ghent gets married.
Fair. But yes.
And then I'll be a consort to the royal line. Fuck yeah.
For purposes of clarity of information, everything I have shared with you is shareable within your immediate party. We don't 100% care if the general populace knows about these facts now. It's been long enough that any sort of widespread panic would not be emergent. However, it is something that the lie has maintained for so long.
Discretion is useful.
Yes. Information is powerful. Understand you hold the keys to a great power now. And use it wisely. As the air cab lands in front of your company house. Well then. I have delivered the information and the message that I was sent here to deliver. I am now going to limp my ass home. Enjoy the rainy weather. As he exits the air cab and disappears into the rain.
Are you sure you don't? And he's gone. All right. It's a couple gold. We could have spotted him an air cab ride back, but whatever.
Carolina, you're pretty confident he's not going home if he's not just taking the air cab with him.
He probably has other things to do. He's very busy.
Yes, I'm sure he is. All right. Well, let's see who's here.
And Carolina's hair immediately becomes exceptionally heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Right, as you walk out in the
Because
rain.
Braided, it is down past her ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep.
So,
Do I hear people talking outside?
No, you can't hear shit over this rain.
I feel like,
mean,
by the way,
I do enter
Yeah,
the
you do hear the
car,
door
right.
open when they walk
So-
in, though.
I feel like the view in the air cab, by the way, was that thing where you're driving down the road at night and you can't see a fucking thing for the rain on your windshield.
Mhm. Yep.
Just
Yep.
buckets, man.
Yeah.
Do you think we've gotten back yet?
or on a foggy
Yeah,
day.
you can-
like
you-
it's midday, so it's
Okay.
a foggy
If there was
day.
nothing
in
else
the
other
back.
than running around for an hour as animals that you wanted to
That's
do,
Probably
yeah,
pretty much
hunting
that,
something.
Yeah.
you can absolutely be back by now.
Unless Val wanted to have any conversation besides that. That was Titania's idea.
They probably hunt something on their while they're out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
We'll say for the purposes of Ariel's hearing people come in that Gent and Carolina walk in as you guys are coming up to the house.
Mhm, mhm.
They walk in one side, the other two walk in the other side of the house. I'm like,
I shake off indoors. I have not changed back from a wolf because I can stay in that form longer, and that is one of my favorite things.
Valdeth,
Carolina
I know who's going to be.
somehow
her.
retrieves a bucket and is like squeezing her hair out into it so I don't track water over the entire house.
Valdeth, having changed back first because polymorph only lasts an hour, is like
Yep.
carrying a deer on her shoulders. Her hair is like completely matted over her face. very
Okay,
much-
so you didn't eat while you were out. You just hunted while you were out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Bringing back that we said we were.
We said to bring back
some
food.
dinner.
Yeah.
And like her hair is like definitely like samurai film, like dramatic confrontation in the rain,
Right,
just
yes.
matted, just like matted to her face. There's probably a bit of blood around her mouth.
Mhm, Yep.
And Carolina suddenly realizes what you two see
Shift
in her.
back.
Sweetheart, you
Hey.
got a little bit of corner of the. Hey, and we'll just grab a handkerchief or something and get the blood off of Valdeth's face. There you go.
Is everyone here?
So yes, Ariel, you hear all of them come in.
Kate,
Tell her we brought food. I'm gonna go sit down next to Ariel on the couch.
I get up and I walk away. You're wet. As I walk away, I do hope you will be cleaning up that mess you just made on the floor.
It'll get cleaned up.
I'll clean it up.
Stops. She turns around.
I'll clean it up.
Very
We brought
well.
food back though for later.
Excellent. Find somewhere else to sit.
Valdeth will bring the deer back to the kitchens to
kitchen.
be prepared and turned into.
Terra will take it and hang it up and begin bleeding and then eventually skinning and everything.
Pearson, I brought a deer.
Yeah. Terra just takes it in stride, just like, okay, well, I guess I'm doing this now. Clink, clink. So yes, you are all home.
Buckets.
Everybody have fun with
Just a-
whatever.
Just a Scuzz
I have a
walking down
lead
in his
for-
pajamas and a blanket.
I have a lead for our necromancer search.
Oh.
I am intrigued.
I'd prefer to everyone just sort of does like a count off, still probably cleaning up whatever blood and or water spatter was tracked in by the other two. Okay.
Carolina. Tanya said she would clean that up.
My apologies. Anyways, I think that this would help all of us, but I also kind of don't have an option. I need to go for work. Also, I got promoted.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Nice.
You got a badge and everything.
Yes. So the town of Valaki. Wait, no, that's wrong.
Vlakti.
Block day.
Oops. Necromancy and Valaki mean something different.
What is Valaki from? I know that town.
It's Curse of Strahd.
Thank
Yeah.
you. That's it. Yes, I ran that game.
Yes. It's south of Grifftop. Apparently, they're being overrun by the undead. I need to figure out why. Deal with that.
I'm in.
I also need to get something that's there. Now, there's no guarantee that that why is related to the necromancer we're trying to track down.
It's a start.
It's a start, and I don't mind just dealing with it myself.
Nope.
We'll come along. Tomorrow is when Durin is due back, if I'm not
Today.
mistaken. Or today is he
Today.
due back? Okay. Durin should be due back sometime tonight, and we can. If things went well, we might be heading to Grifftop anyway.
True.
And Carolina will show the rest of the group the image. I need to find these goggles. They're probably magical, they're significant, and we're unsure of their full power set.
Interesting.
Any rolls to be made on potentially recognizing?
Give me an Arcana check.
Can I also make that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
I'll
Get
make
to-
it.
Dubious knowledge.
I won't get anything on it, but I'll make the roll.
Hey, look, I rolled well on an Arcana check for once, and not below a 5.
23.
Fuck. Sometimes I forget where things are on the character sheet. And that is medicine.
I also have Arcana. Whee!
So, Valdeth and Scuzz, look like a pair of goggles. Ariel, you don't recognize these goggles. They're not
Okay.
something you've seen before.
Fair.
But based on your roles as well as Gent's and Carolina's, the three of you would surmise, just based on their design and where the runes are, that they have something. They are some sort of eyesight enhancing magical device. Whatever magic they have, it likely revolves around sight
Right.
and vision.
Carolina will share that. Being goggles, there's a decent chance that their magic is ocular to
Correct.
some degree.
That
And
would-
Koenig
that
was
would
kind
log
enough to
in.
say that you could keep them, right? Upon
Yeah.
reclamation. So that was generous, I thought.
Very well.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll wait for Durin to get back, and
I assume anybody with a passive insight of more than 10 can tell that Gent is not talking about something yet.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking
Oh,
over.
Carolina is letting him not talk about it.
What else? How'd the meeting go?
Apparently
you
I'm
want
rich
us
now?
to clear out?
No, everybody's going to need to be here for this. If you could pull out those 4 things and we'll figure.
All 4?
Yes.
Okay. Carolina will. Actually, I gave you the bag of holding so that you.
Oh, that's right.
have your
He does
stuff.
have that. Yeah, right. So anyway. First thing Gent does is pull off his shoes and hand them to Scuzz. My
Do you
cloak.
want me to clean
take-
these?
No, those are yours now.
They let you climb on things.
They let you
Remember
walk
how
up
Gent
on
can
wa-
walk walls.
Those are the shoes that let me walk on the walls and the ceiling and whatnot. Those are yours now.
Are we doing a
Be
redistribution?
careful. They have a limited time, so if you're on a high wall,
They
when
really don't.
Hmm?
Yeah, Slippers of Spider
Mhm.
Climb is literally just gives you a climbing speed. There's no
Yeah.
like.
I thought those were the ones that gave you the climb spell.
No. You just.
No,
Be careful with those. If you walk into an anti-magic field, you could fall a long ways.
That is true.
Okay.
Again, are we doing a redistribution of things for some reason?
Are you dying?
I got an inheritance, and
I see.
there were some implements that were part of that, as well as a rather embarrassing amount of money.
You all do notice that Kent
Um,
is wearing a very impressive looking cloak right now.
That's exciting.
So there's a couple
the-
sort of things. Some of them are a little simpler. And some of them are less so. But Carolina was kind enough to help me get the details on most of these sort of things. This book is from my ancestor Gwithyr. It's got something to do with building golems, which is an interesting skill to have. I think that one's going to enter Ithram's library.
Ithram is there.
Oh, so I'll let you peruse that in your own time. It's a little dangerous, so I would be careful on that one.
I would be very careful.
But
as he opens
The
it and tries to read
quantity
it.
and quality.
oh god,
And he's doing what he said, man.
well, he did say we try
Never
to
mind.
read it after the meeting.
He opens it, tries to read it. His eye is sort of crossed for a second. He closes it. This is some very powerful magic.
I'll sort of pat his head with a cure wounds.
He says he takes 18 points of psychic damage.
I can fix like half of that. You'll get there eventually. Probably.
The staff is actually my grandfather's.
Really?
It's imbued with storm magic, basically.
Right.
Oh.
And given that it's well, to be perfectly frank, it's a magic beat stick. So, Valdeth, if you want to give that a try.
I'll just sort of reach out and grab it and hold on to it for a second. This thing balances incredibly, she says, sort of spinning it around in one hand, and then lightning sort of arcs off one end of it. Ooh. Fancy.
It's got some unique bits to it that Carolina could give you the details on, but you can
We can
Make
spar
it
later.
emit-
I'll. Good weather for it
Yes.
too.
And I mean, it is a little appropriate for that, yes. But it's got a few things that it can do once a day, and otherwise it's painful.
Right.
This handkerchief is, well, it's full of portals, so that's just going to sit in my pocket for now.
Oh.
Portals to where?
That's the thing.
It's random, more or less,
You
from
can
what I
always,
can tell.
always give it a try. There's a table right in front of you.
So we might experiment with that at some point.
I see.
Like an expanding permanent portal, or
No, it's more
Temporary sort of thing.
Yes, it's you open it up, it activates, it turns into a portal. You either send some people through and stay behind, or everybody goes through and you grab it and detach it and fold it up, and
Right.
next
tell
time
what
it'll
it is before you go through it.
maybe by sticking your head through and then pulling it back out.
All right.
But it from what I understand, it's not like down the street. It's definitely dimensional.
It is a
Dimensional.
plane, and it could be a lot of different planes. Not necessarily every plane, because some planes only intersect at certain periods, but there's a large number of planes it could be. Most planes are exceptionally dangerous.
And it's entirely random, no way of controlling it.
Not that I know of yet.
GM?
Carolina, you also know that it's not limited to just the various connected elemental planes and things.
Yeah.
It could also.
I would assume there are some planes that it couldn't get.
Yeah, there
to,
are some planes
but-
that are shielded, but it could theoretically also connect to other material planes.
Right.
Yeah, including other material planes, which are almost more dangerous, depending on your qualities of danger. It's magic.
Right.
So what I'm getting from this is we open up the handkerchief, we shove the Mcron crystal through it.
Right.
And then most interestingly, there's this. And he sets a deck of cards on the table and does not take his hand off of it yet.
Oh, cards.
Carolina, you were a little more comprehensive on this one. Would you like to give it a go?
Sure. Ariel, you okay?
I'll answer that question once you explain things.
Okay. I would discourage using this recklessly. Though at the same time, it is, while not a sentient item, an item with a purpose and design that it wants to be used, and its magical intent is focused towards being used. That all said, this is an item called a deck of many things. It contains within it powerful magic that can alter reality and fate. It has a variety of benefits. It could tick off a demon. It could grant you exceptional wealth and power. Or it could lock you in an endless void. It could grant your wishes. There are a number of other things. There's more dangerous things than there are beneficial things, depending on how you count. And typically the person drawing from the deck is subject to the effect. That's not to say the people around them couldn't also be impacted, but most of the effects are targeted at a single person.
I see.
It is not something that should be used recklessly. It is exceptionally dangerous. But at the same time, you can't really avoid using it necessarily, though perhaps you could give it to someone who's more interested in using it than you are. Though putting it places is also very dangerous.
If I may suggest something, giving any of these things outside of this, people that are incredibly capable and that you trust, might be a terrible idea. How well guarded were these things?
Fairly exceptionally. Because it's the Bank of Terra, right?
Yeah,
Was where
yeah.
these things were
In
sequestered. Yeah.
in a vault in the Bank of Tehran.
Right.
I'm going to posit something. And it's something that I haven't been quite able to suss out up to this point. Which is typically when you're trying to figure out why someone does something,
Murdered a whole bunch of people.
the question is who benefits from it.
Well, this wasn't your
The-
uncle's, was it?
The benefit in this case is that these items, which were firmly under lock and key before,
Are now out.
are now out in the world. I'm not saying let's lock these things back up or anything like that. What I am saying is that I would consider it a greater than minor possibility.
Well, it's possible. The nature of none of the magic items really suit that. While certainly the staff and cloak are both exceptional items, they are typical enough that someone powerful and dedicated enough could find a way to acquire them or acquire something equivalent.
You don't think an agent of well, we're assuming that your uncle is some sort of demon or demon related thing. You're assuming that an agent of chaos wouldn't like something like that deck, or something that would allow them to travel potentially to other material planes.
I take your point, but there's a second part to this. The second part is that the other two items are impossible to control. And yes, maybe an agent of chaos wants the ability to travel to a random plane and is willing to risk that it ends up on some celestial plane and gets curb stomped by all the angels. There are celestial planes that are not the divine. There are planes containing celestials that are not warded off.
I would argue, and this is all theoretical, but these items are certainly not controllable by those with mortal lifespans.
I can state with
People like
confidence that the deck cannot be controlled.
You can tell me that a god or godlike being will be unable to control that?
A god or godlike being could reverse its effects.
It sounds like
Theoretical
a
magic happens to be my specialty. As much as it is not my favorite thing in the world, I do know quite a bit about it. Besides, if you wanted a specific effect from the deck, a better way to do it would be to find a sufficiently powerful cleric and force them to try until it works.
Perhaps it's not the deck. Perhaps it's the handkerchief. And hey, let's just send unsuspecting people through. Oh, that's a celestial realm? Okay, never mind. And keep going until they find the realm that they want. The point is, this is certainly something that potentially benefits, and we need to be aware.
Yeah.
Also,
Possibility.
We have them now. And we'll just be careful.
I mean, the other thing there is, if he wants them, he has to get them from us now.
Exactly, and that was the point I was making. Is that we not just say this is too dangerous and we put it under the protection of something.
It seemed like they put them in the vault as bragging rights. look how cool our ancestors were. They each had this magical item that defined them aesthetically.
I don't know if I'd call that deck a cool magic item, but I'm sure somebody would want to brag about it.
I don't really
I'm
care.
not even sure how they managed to put the deck in a vault and have it stay there. But ultimately, it's Gent's choice, and everything but the deck could very safely be returned to the vault if he wanted to.
Jeremy?
I'll be honest, I don't care why they were why the family originally put in there. I just care about what happens with
I find that a valid concern. As it stands, I think increased watchfulness around these 5 specifics would be valuable. And if my uncle, until I find out what his actual identity is, that's the easiest way to refer to him. Part of the interview made it seem like Alfinbar's entire identity was a construct, and he's some other individual who did some ridiculous arcane accomplishments in order to insert memories of his existence going back centuries. Anyway, you guys understand what I'm sort of...
Hang on.
The rough generalities.
Run that one by me.
Based on the questions that the lead geist asked me this morning before sending me off to the bank for my newly acquired wealth, the implication was given that the individual known as Alfinbar Minar, that is a wholly fictitious identity. That I've never had an uncle. My mother never had a brother, certainly not one named Alfinbar. And that whoever this arcane practitioner was able to weave magic in such a way that it made his fictional persona recognizable and acceptable by an entire family of nobles plus other people.
And this is worth noting that they came to this conclusion via diviners,
Right.
not just normal investigation.
Think about it this way: we know that his existence was erased by the time that we discovered the estate. All evidence of him and most people's memories of him. Now, with the access to powerful diviners, there are really 2 options. Either he was there and he managed to erase everything, or he managed to place everything in and then remove what he had inserted. And it seems that Taram's diviners believe the second option.
I would, however, posit that something sufficiently powerful enough to pull the first off might even fool divination magics.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
think both are plausible, but there is reason to interrogate the second, because the second implies that Gent and Gent's family were not simply conveniently already his family for what he was trying to pull off, but that using Gent or Gent's family for the ritual was in some way important.
All right. So 2 possibilities.
John, remind me, did I ask any questions about Gent's uncle when I was there interviewing people so that we could get to Gent's mom?
No.
Okay. Now that I think about it, no one mentioned him. We don't know necessarily when those memories were properly erased, because Ghent still has them.
Mm.
The Minar family didn't mention him when, well, I made no effort to prompt them to mention him during the initial retrieval.
There's a lot of things that are weird about that, but
They weren't the most cooperative.
all right.
Either way, the initial point that I was attempting to make was that if he's strong enough to do that, there's no reason he couldn't have used that sort of magic to probably get access to a vault.
Eventually.
Gent, you notice underneath your hand, one of the cards in the deck has shifted.
Has it like rotated 90 degrees? Or...
not 90 degrees, but like, you know.
Okay,
like,
but
like
just a
very
little
slightly.
bit to where
Has made its presence
Something's-
known outside the rest of the deck.
something's cornered out.
Yeah, basically.
He's just gonna move 2 fingers and just like zip that
Okay.
one back in.
If I notice that, I told you, it is the sort of item that wants to be used.
That's
Yes.
very dangerous.
So we need to figure out what we're doing about that at some point.
That there's a double challenge there, because an item like that wants to be used either wants to help or royally wants to fuck you over.
Bit of
Oh yes,
both.
I feel
It
like there's
alters
absolutely no way
reality
to.
in a set number of incredibly powerful ways, many of which are disastrous.
It tried to pull a specific card out for you, did it not?
No, it
just
was just the top card. Basically, the top card had just
Okay.
rotated.
Okay, I was
No,
thinking like
it was
I was
just
thinking like
trying to get you to accidentally pull while adjusting it.
okay, I was
Can't-
thinking like a card in the middle of the deck had just started to slide out.
No, just the top card had slightly shifted.
Can't Ithram just tell if that thing is cursed, like the monkey's paw? And
It's not cursed,
It's just
and
dangerous.
I can also tell if it's cursed.
It's just an ungodly powerful magical item that wants to be used.
okay.
And-
Which
that
to
is
some
heavily
people's minds is no different from a curse. But
It's from what's being described, it is chaotic power incarnate.
To an extent, yes, it seems very random, and you are at least as likely, comparatively, to choose something horrible as to possibly choose something with exceptional merit.
I
to it.
can
so
tell
it
you-
could go either way.
Honestly,
I can tell you that it is, at least according to my studies, this kind of item is heavily implied to be directly linked to the elemental chaos.
yeah,
Huh.
that would make sense.
Interesting.
Honestly, again, I am loath to make any sort of decisions because this is Ghent's inheritance. I am disposable, relatively speaking, and I'm pretty damn durable.
Oh, if we want to get experimental with this, I'm all for taking a stroll outside the city and letting any one of you take a draw or 3.
I will keep my hands as
Please.
far away from that as possible. Thank you very much.
You took away my Supertron.
I mean, that was going to have to be returned at some point, though, right?
Yes, but I didn't get to take it back myself.
I will get you another food creating item if you promise to keep your hands off of the deck of many things.
It did break the house.
Yes.
Multiple
So
Now we
times.
know
It's got a
that to break the
patch.
house.
Wait, it broke the house? How did it break the house?
There was a leak this morning. It's fine. It's fixed now.
The
Are we going
bird
to have mold?
summoned a
No.
chicken elemental on the roof. No, the squirrels summoned a chicken elemental on the roof using dead birds.
Have you tried to ask the squirrels why? Or like,
I don't have that sort of magic.
okay.
Do we
I
care?
Also, I can assume why. Because it was a free food production and for varmints that eat all the time anything. Have you ever had
What?
a burger
Animals
and a
do-
squirrel around? They are vicious creatures.
They're just animals doing
Do
what
you-
animals do.
Artidian squirrels like these mysteriously vicious variants that I have
No.
not encountered before.
No,
They're
just
aggressive.
squirrels.
They're used to people, and they're not even scared of powerful barbarians.
I'm sorry. Do we care why?
No.
Do we
Anyway,
give the
guys,
slightest
I will get
shit?
you something else food related. I promise. I will find you a food magic item. I will learn how to craft a food magic item. Deal?
Why can't I pull a cod? Why? how
Because
come
I don't
everyone
want you
else-
to be hurt.
We're indoors right now as well.
Yeah, no, I can wait. I have self-control. Sometimes.
All right. Well, we're not doing anything else until tomorrow. We should get this over with before the deck decides that it.
Is this like some sort of pressure valve? Like if we pull from it, it's okay for a little while? Because that seems odd.
Once it's been used, it's been used. And John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I recall that this is how it's phrased. Once it's been used, it's been used. And until it shouldn't be as aggressive going forward unless we try and stick it somewhere and ditch it.
Yeah.
So if we tried to bury it in the backyard or throw it into a different plane, it would still probably curse us, but it probably won't be so aggressive going forward if one of us uses it. That's what I remember, right?
Yes.
So no, it just has to be used once. A dangerous once, admittedly, but
Or more than once.
yes, we can also use the incredibly
At
dangerous
least
magical
once.
item up to 20 times.
21.
Up
Do
to
it.
21 times.
I mean, infinite, because as soon as you pull
Yeah.
and reveal it, it goes back
Goes
in the
back,
deck,
right.
except for a couple.
Oh, is that
Yes,
how
we
that
can
works?
also
Okay, I've
use
heard it different
the-
ways.
Stupid deck as many times as we wish to.
Yeah. No. It
I
refreshes
will-
itself, and ruin is one of the ones that refreshes. So
Yep.
you can always ruin yourself.
I will very happily never put my hands on that deck. Thank you very much.
What's
Yeah,
the cloak?
I should say, Ariel, well, as Valdeth has already sussed out, one of the things it can do is take away everything you own.
I'm sorry, did I give the slightest inkling that I plan to touch that abomination?
You don't have to touch it. Scuzz is volunteering, which is a whole
Yes,
other thing.
I have been here and have been present for the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can find you something that's slightly less likely to auto kill you.
I've been brought back so many times. And also, apparently, I could get brought back again by Titania if y'all need me.
I don't need.
Y'all,
Listen,
I appreciate that you guys can. You guys don't want me to put myself recklessly in danger. But if you are saying that this item needs to be used so it doesn't cause more chaos, then we need to use it. And
Caroline-
I am a grown adult goblin. I can make these choices for myself as long as they don't put us as a group in danger.
also, Carolina, darling, I know that you enjoy being, to a certain extent, the party martyr, but
Mm.
from what you are describing here, this doesn't sound like something that gives the slightest shit about how hardy you are.
Okay, party martyr is a shitty way to describe your tank.
It's
But
fair.
anyways,
Why do you have to
It's
keep being the
less that
martyr?
I'm-
Because I've got heavy armor.
yeah. No, I charge in front of you because you're a ranged fighter who has no hit points. Not because I'm a martyr. It's more that this would be a shitty way for any of us to go out. I'm the one who has a grudge against magic and especially powerful reality altering magic as a concept, so I'm taking this personally.
I mean, that is also fair.
It's more... Let's call things like this my favored enemy.
Well, you can duel the cards later.
It's time to duel.
I feel like that was a pun that Aaron actually appreciated.
At this point, by the way,
It's the same meaning of the word, it's not a pun.
the door slams open as the rain comes pouring down, and a very wet dwarf, a pair of very wet dwarves walk in, followed by
medic.
followed by a very wet halfling.
I will encourage Gent to put the deck back in the bag.
Oh yeah, just shoot in the box. Shut
Soon
it.
as the door
bag of
opens.
holding.
Yeah.
Everybody lines up with their backs to the table
Yep,
in that very
yep,
sort of we weren't doing
There's-
anything kind
like,
of
Hello.
way.
And Durin is muttering, by all the ancestor spirits, I've never seen rain this fucking heavy. Just as
Yeah,
he's-
just-
Valdez very casually just entire quarter stash is
Right down the right down.
muttering as they come in and sort of pull off these hooded cloaks that they're wearing to keep themselves dry and hang them up. So yeah, Durin and Merrick are there, as well as a short, light-skinned, red-haired halfling, who's wearing sort of peasant-looking clothes, and also a wet cloak that sort of dusts it off and sort of. So these would be the folks you're talking about. This is sort of indicating to the group of you, and Durin says, "Hey, one moment.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Master Stonebeard, we have returned from our investigations, and would like to present to you one Alistar Green." As this hobgoblin, or this halfling, as I go hobgoblin, goblin, halfling says, "Hello, pleasure to meet you."
Hello.
Valdez will step forward and offer his hand. Mr. Green?
Mr. Stonebeard. As we were investigating plots of land out in Grifftop, we were approached by Mr. Green, as well as a consortium of other farming folk coming up from the south, and they wished to voice a proposal to the lot of you, which I figured was a decent-sounding proposal to my ears, and figured you might want to weigh in on your own.
I trust your expertise, Durin. Let's hit it.
Right. Well, myself and the lads are coming up from Vreos, down there on the Vono River, looking for work in Grifftop, and mostly because there's not a lot of work there at the moment. Everything's consolidated into various families. Ran into your man Durin out there. Said he was looking to buy a parcel of land, and figured we could shoot two birds with one stone, as it were. We're a bunch of farm hands. Farming's in our blood. Farming's all we do. Hoping to open up a farm in the Grifftop area because it sees a lot of traffic, sees a lot of trade, has a lot of good fertile land where you could raise livestock and crops. With what I understand your financial situation to be from Mr. Durin, we proposed, and he figured that I should propose to you as well, a bit of a deal. The money that you have would finance a decent speck of land out along the cliff's edge, out in Grifftop, which is, again, very decent land for livestock and crops. Figured you provide the money, we provide the manpower. We could build you a house, Griffin Company house, whatever it is you're looking for, as well as establish ourselves a farm. Now that farm would pay for a lot of the property taxes and land, money that you owe the Empire for operating on their land. so as you wouldn't have to worry about that kind of monthly thing, as well as be a source of income for you to put food on your table. Gives us lads some work, gives us lads some land as well as you good folk. Everyone sort of wins, and we sort of work out our problems together.
Valdez kind of scratches her chin for a minute. Well, that's a fairly tidy proposition, and if Durin thinks that the numbers and the math works out very well, I'm inclined to trust his judgment on that. Valdez looks over her shoulder. Anyone else have any opinions to the contrary?
Nope. I would just like a little garden area.
Oh, sure.
Garden
Plenty of space for a garden. Any kind of thing you might want to grow.
Mm-hmm.
There should also probably be a space for like testing stuff.
Well, we'll have plenty of specifications to go up around the Griff House itself, but
And with the Durin and Mr. Green together, with the investment stake that we have posted thus far, what sort of acreage are we thinking in terms of actual land area?
Well,
could we afford with our current?
Master Minar, Durin sort of pulls a bit of oiled parchment out of his coat and sort of walks over to the table and spreads it out, and you see this indication of a fairly large chunk of land. Alongside the road leading into Grifftop, there is a sizable piece of land that's currently unoccupied and unowned, except for it being Empire land, you see. Just outside the city, rather than being immediately within the confines. So it wouldn't have the benefit of city walls for defensive purposes, but with the 55,000 gold you've given me, we'd be able to, and he sort of marks out this fairly sizable chunk of land that looks like it's enough space. John, don't know what the acreage numbers would be,
Right,
but
sure.
it's enough space for a decently sized like manor house, plus an independent farm with ranch.
Okay. Oh.
Like, and the farm would only have room for, like, it would have, like, one livestock and two separate like, one livestock area and, like, two crop fields. So it's not, like, massive farm, but decently sized thing.
Right. Self-sustainable, at least.
Pretty much, yeah. Like, and the idea being put forth by Green is that the farm would pay for your property taxes, basically, and also be a source of food.
And yeah, I think we can certainly support that endeavor.
Insight check.
What?
I'll make that too.
I'm sorry.
case.
Why
I
not?
Want to
I
say
don't
yes,
trust anything.
But I
Go
also don't want to get, a colony of vampires who are just, we're just farmers. We're just farmers.
Just lovely.
I trust them.
Just lovely, good-natured farmers. Now, if you wouldn't mind bending your neck over that way.
Yeah, I'll make it as well, just in case.
Oh, they're masseuses as well.
So many 16s and 17s.
17, 16, 17. Not only do the group of you feel that this person is fairly on the level, he's a fairly young halfling that very clearly does not seem to have a lot of, like, world weariness about him. You're also pretty certain that Durin very thoroughly vetted this individual before bringing him to you.
Yeah, Valdez trusts Durin implicitly as her major domo.
Yeah.
There is just a brief pitying look that passes over
Ariel in particular, because of the group that you have the more financially sound mind. You're pretty certain you guys are getting the better end of this deal, and that's probably Durin's doing.
And I am totally okay with that. But yeah, there's just this brief pity look of, oh, the world's gonna break you so hard, and
because Green and his boys are basically going to take your money and build your house and a farm and work the farm. Now they are getting a farm of their own out of the deal, which is not an insubstantial thing, and you are footing the bill. But they're doing all the work.
Right.
How long will this take to build it?
Well, the boys are ready. The boys are in Grifftop, just waiting for the word and the finances to be settled, and everyone to spit and shake hands and all that. Once we get started, shouldn't take us more than a month to put everything together and slap up some walls, and you'll have some doors. You have
Carolina,
no
We'll make it
idea
look
what
good over time.
you have no idea what the fuck he meant by that line.
Carolina will look over to Valdeth. If we're building our house from the ground up, I want to look at the possibility of a skylight.
Very good point. I think this is a deal worth taking, and I don't seem to hear any major objections.
I already spit in my hand.
I am fully on board with this idea.
This guy's just standing there with a loogie in his palm.
Pretty much.
Amazing.
All right, Mr. Green, you got a deal.
Holds a hand
Now
out.
let's shakes on it.
That's what
Well,
I
let's
got.
shake on it.
Yep. All right. Well then, looks over Duran. Just stay the night. Let the storm pass by, and then we'll head out to back to Grifftop.
Oh yeah, we brought lots of food,
Question:
thanks.
Is the storm likely to pass by anytime between now and the spring?
No.
I'm
it'll-
gonna pull up a.
So, yeah, and you guys notice the mountain range south of Taram keeps most of the mountain range that Taram is situated on keeps most of this weather away from the Inland Empire.
Mhm.
Which is why it just drenches Taram for months on end, because it can't get
Right.
past the mountains easily. So, like,
Yep.
Taram and Scala and Agrosk will get some of this, but for the most part, it'll be lighter rains by the time it reaches the rest of the Empire.
We're actually headed that way ourselves, aren't we?
But yeah, no, this rain will not stop. There will be breaks. There will be like a day where it doesn't rain
Right. There will be an
Between-
occasional brief lull.
every now and then. But no, the storm is not going to pass.
Okay.
And that sentence alone solidifies that this person is from Voreas.
It's like the idea of, yes, we've made a deal, wonderful. Now you just have to survive a night living in our house.
You can stay in my room.
Most
The odds
dangerous
are
thing
not
here,
in your
and then
favor.
Brought several more dangerous things in.
Yeah, so.
All right then. Well,
Well, it'll be a pleasure working with everyone then.
indeed. Durin, a word, if you wouldn't mind.
Of
off to the side?
course. He'll straighten his coat, follow you.
Right. I assume you'll be arranging the paperwork and that sort of thing, or do we need outside services for that?
Certainly, I can handle all of that.
Fair enough. I came into a bit of an inheritance with the death of my family, so if there is additional funding necessary, feel free to just come straight to me and we can get that handled.
Congratulations and condolences in equal measure, and certainly we can.
Very dwarfy of him.
If we need any further funding, I'll be sure to let you know. But the funding that is there is more than adequate for the initial purposes. But if it's something where you'd like to add more materials in to build yourself a fancier house, certainly wouldn't say no to a bit more coin.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you. This is going to be very interesting.
I'll leave it to the lot of you to draw up your plans for what you'd like in a house, and we'll take the plans back with us and get the boys working.
Excellent.
Before we take a leave tomorrow to try and head over to Vlakti, I need to take a trip out to Nesterin's fineries tonight, so I'll be back in a bit.
Ooh, I'll join you. I have to stop and say hello to some folks before we head out again.
And are we going to do that experimental thing outside the city, or are we tabling that
Yes.
for now?
We should do that just
Yes,
to
we
quiet it down.
absolutely 100% should do that.
All right. Well, once you get back from Nesterin's, then we'll take a little walk in the rain.
If you'd like, rather than do it outside our city, I could take us to Kor, and we could do it outside their city.
Sorry, what?
I have recently acquired magical teleportation powers, which will allow me to
it
teleport us to
Right.
I am very,
To and
very
from-
in favor of doing this outside of core instead.
Yes.
Kor in the Kingdom of Adal, and also can teleport us back.
In a callback to yesterday, I would like to make this a NIMBY problem.
Yeah.
Of course, I can only do that once per day at the moment.
Well, we go to
So
core.
out, spend the night, back the next morning.
Unless,
Delightful.
Like a vacation.
unless
But
We
I'm
with
go- wait.
explosions.
We go there, we stay the night, we do the experiment, and then immediately teleport back. Rather than doing it tonight
That would make sense.
and then having
That's
to stay
fair.
there for
That's
24
why.
hours.
That's wise.
That is the
It's
tactical
still a
position.
vacation.
Well,
Just saying.
I can be prepared to go whenever everyone is ready. So if you want to do any shopping, feel free. I'm going to rest
I
from
may
trying to
take
read
you
a
up
book
on the shopping. I should be back in.
because it
not
hurts my
that long.
brain. And he sort of walks up the stairs to his room.
John, I'm gonna whisper you something that
Okay.
I want to buy.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be outside of my financial range because I think it'd probably be a common item. But
We're rich now.
Well, Gent hasn't passed out any money, so you
Yeah,
have the
Gent
amount of
is
money you
rich.
had previously.
I was gonna say, what's this wee shit?
There's
I
has
have
money.
spent any of my money from the last.
Right, I
time
was gonna
I
say,
paid.
Carolina probably is.
I am also fairly rich. I am just not
$1,700.
yet rich.
100 gold pieces.
75, 79 gold pieces.
Sheesh.
I don't
I
spend
don't-
it on anything.
No, because there is not enough to spend yet.
I spend my gold pieces a lot, but I've still got 2,131 gold.
So-
Like,
Nonsense.
we're not broke.
While
Yeah.
while Aaron is whispering things to me, Valdeth, you and Titania are heading to Nestrin's fineries.
Yeah.
Is anyone else heading up there with them?
Gent is just gonna try and go blow 7,000 gold on advanced link pearls for everybody.
You can do this,
Okay, everybody has advanced link pearls. Congratulations.
or will by the end of the day.
Yeah.
Or will by the end of the day.
So the difference between regular link pearls and advanced link pearls, they are the same, except that you can use the advanced link pearl to cast the sending spell at will to any person wearing a
Nice.
link pearl.
Let me know if you need better clarification. I
Anybody
think
wearing
that
a
makes
link
sense.
pearl or anyone wearing a link pearl attached to your link?
Anyone wearing a link pearl, period.
Oh.
Okay then.
So,
Yeah,
like,
I
you
remember
could send
that-
one to
that was
Koenig.
What the?
Yeah, that's how Koenig sent you guys a message when he wasn't on
Right.
your network.
I mean, I just assumed, NPC badass do
No.
what they want.
He had an advanced link pearl.
This is my game, fuck you.
Hey
I
now,
mean, it may
that's
be a
my
little bit of
GMing
that.
style. That's why Torvald Fauntleroy is the only person that gets a valet.
Fresh horses.
That is a thing you can do, Aaron. It'll be commissioned though. That's not a thing you can just that they just have on shelves.
I like the idea that
Not
Torvald
even if I go to the seedy part of the city.
No, they pointedly don't have those on shelves because if they did, they would be ransacked
No,
by
I
the
mean,
people that were
yes,
using
they
them.
don't have them on shelves, but I'm saying, okay.
Yeah, no, it would be a commission.
How much is it to rush a commission? Because I need this by tomorrow, and I need this by the time we're leaving.
Unfortunately, the reason why commissions take a while is because magic has to take time to work, so you can't really rush a commission.
I'm
Okay.
I'm so excited
So-
for when Carolina tries.
Updated question. I specifically
Love a
did
finger
not
of death.
choose one of the magic items that I can create with my
Mhm.
create magic item, infuse item ability.
Yeah.
Would this be something that I could learn to do with that ability?
I'll say yes.
Okay.
I'm super excited for this for once the deck is out and ready to some magical thing trying to stop people from pulling
Oh,
from
that's
the
not
deck.
quite what this is.
All right.
This is something that Carolina realizes she needs eventually.
So Gent goes out and is
Yep. He's link pearling.
buying link pearls. Violet and Tanya, you go to Nesterin's Vineries. Nesterin is there as he always is. This short gnome.
I'll go with them just because I have nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This short
Tanya's gonna peel off and find someone. Say
this
hi.
gnome with brightly colored pastel clothes and shock of pink hair. Welcome to Nesterin's Fineries. Can we interest you in our newest item?
What is your newest item?
The
Yeah.
coat of holding, he says, indicating what is effectively a trench coat with 50 pockets.
Is it a raincoat?
No, it's like a trench coat. Like
Oh.
it's like a long coat.
Honestly, you actually can interest me in that, but other things are
Well,
more specific.
but here's the best part. He says, pulling out a short sword, pulling open one of the pockets, dropping the short sword into the pocket, and just phew. All of the pockets are connected to the same extra-dimensional space wherein it holds any item, meaning you can put something in this pocket, and then he reaches out into one of the outer pockets of the coat, and pull it out this one.
And grabs a short sword, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Why would you want one trench coat that has the same pocket dimension in all 50 pockets when you could just have a trench coat with one pocket to 50 different dimensions?
Because that's impossible.
This Scuzz is not there, but just imagine someone tells Scuzz about this.
That
He'd
would be
like,
the
Scuzz is-
answer.
John,
Doesn't-
I
is
would
it,
argue
goddammit?
that is not impossible. You just simply put that fucking handkerchief in a pocket, and there you go.
Doesn't that make things explode?
No, the Well of Many Souls does not interact poorly like the portable hole or anything else. 'Cause when it's
Right.
folded up,
You
it's just a
sew it
handkerchief.
into the lining of the pocket.
It's like a really, really dangerous pickpocket hook thing, but
Yeah.
like
Somebody
sucked
tries to
into
pick your
hell.
pocket, something grabs their hand and they get pulled into your
Yeah.
pocket.
Yeah, but then you
No.
have a permanently open door to hell in your pocket. I don't know if you want that.
You close
Okay,
the pocket,
but
that
at the
closes
same
dimension.
time, for an NPC, a permanently open door to hell in their pocket would be great.
Yeah.
Like,
Legit.
Player
For the
character
right
tries to
kind of
pickpocket them and then just gets grabbed by an imp.
Oh, I can't say that. It's not 9 o'clock yet. Oh.
Just because I'm curious.
Hmm?
And in no way am necessarily should you take this as any indication of what is about to transpire. What is the cost?
As I rapidly try to pull up my pricing guide again.
You're not
Don't
picking up on
The
the mic.
cost is, I will tell you in no tones of language.
No, it is 600 gold.
That is disgustingly low.
It
it,
doesn't
Karen,
require
get
a
it,
tune.
get it.
That is the
Ariel?
most expensive. That is the most expensive something like a bag of holding will ever be.
You should get it.
How does it look? This is important.
It is a at the moment it's sort of like a dark brown leather like long coat with like just the two pockets on the outside and then sort of a dark red velvet interior with that's sort of lined with these individual pockets on the inside. There are 48 pockets on the inside of the coat and then 2 on the outside.
I don't
Just two big
suppose-
ones on the outside.
Do you have one in white?
It is suddenly white. Customization is number 1 for Nesterin's Fineries.
How customizable is this?
We can the base price of the item includes any personalizations you might desire.
Very well.
Get them pockets embroidered.
Oh, she's spending something. I'm
Yeah,
proud.
because that's real damn useful.
Yeah.
Also, it can look really nice too.
Also, does not require attunement because it's just a bag of holding that is a coat.
All right.
Who had the magic item I created?
I have a sickle.
Okay. The next time you go to use that sickle, you will discover it no longer is a +1 weapon.
Okay.
Oh, Gent would have given the bag of holding back to Carolina, by the way. Cool.
But I'm not dropping the spell in the bag of holding because it's useful and also has things in it that I don't.
I was gonna say that would be awkward. All of a sudden, you're just knee
Which
deep in a
magical item
pile
am
of
I
crap.
getting rid of? I think it's this
Would
one.
you possibly? I have a chest. It's kind of awkward to carry around though. That like preservative. Could you have some? Could get something to like link to that, or can do that too?
So he's
Don't
trying
know
to figure
how
this
it
out what he's looking
works.
up.
Sorry, I was typing a thing.
Yeah. That's fair.
Ask the question again.
I have the chest preserving.
Mhm.
Can I get something that can do that, or will like leak to it? Titania doesn't understand how magic works.
How do you mean?
There's, well, I don't have it on me right now. It's back at the house.
The chest preserves anything in it from decaying or expiring over time.
Yes.
That's not quite the style of magic we enchanting that we do here at the Fineries. And connecting excellent magical items to new magical items is tricky at best.
Darn it. All right.
Was there anything else
Yeah.
that you had come in for?
Yes, I'm actually here for specifics.
Hmm?
I'm gonna make a charisma save real quick. No, she exactly has as much self control as she thinks she does. I'm looking. I'm looking for 2 particular bras of holding
Certainly.
after the 2 that I purchased previously.
Certainly.
She's going to get one that is in her actual size, and because she has just the right amount of impulse control to know when she might want to use this for fun, one that is somewhat larger.
Can I get one too, actually?
I
They're
see.
kind of
I
fun.
see. I see what you mean.
And it's useful.
Certainly.
How much are those?
They are 300 gold each.
I will buy one.
Remember when we needed to pool our resources to get Val one bag of
I know,
holding?
yeah.
I know.
Now we're just
Yeah,
buying
yep.
3 off the rack.
I know, it's like,
Uh-huh.
hey, coats for everybody.
So what sort of personalizations do you want them to put into the coat, Ariel?
So, hold on just a second. Okay. So white for sure. Probably like not full length duster, like probably just about midway between like knee and hip.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly soft leather. Particular like there's going to be particular design elements.
Yeah.
That she'll have put into it.
Yeah, and Nestor
But-
will basically, as you are requesting things, snap of the fingers, snap of the fingers, snap
Yep.
of the fingers, and the adjustments occur in real time.
Perfect. Looks good. Thank you.
You now have a coat of holding. Requires no attunement.
I'm assuming you have not thrown this into D&D Beyond
No, just
yet.
make it a bag of holding. Basically.
Yeah,
it's
bag of
effectively
holding.
a bag of holding. Just you can rename it to coat of holding.
All right. Well, I wanted to stop by. What was his name again? By Armir's place. Say hi. See if they want me to pass a message along.
Sure. Are you taking Valdeth and Ariel with you?
Sure, if you want to come with. I'm gonna go see my brother and his. He has a wife and kids.
Sure.
And one of them lives out in Grifftop. Actually, I was gonna go see
Delightful.
if they
So yeah, you go to
wanted me to bring anything out.
you in the pouring rain. You go to what is a fairly modest house in sort of like a line of homes in What layer does he live in? In Iakus. One of the I'll say section 4 of Iakus. There's like sort of a line of like townhomes kind of thing, and like you walk up the steps to one. Knock on the door. It opens, and there is a wooden sword come flying out towards you.
Gasp! I say gasp.
Haha, gotcha! There is, standing at the door, there is a no more than 8 years old red-headed elf, holding a wooden sword in her left hand and a wooden shield in her right, and sort of like pointing it at Titania.
Instinctually, wooden or not,
Oh,
Ariel
God.
does reach. Doesn't like clearly reaching for gun.
Yeah.
Gasp!
Stops herself.
Surprise attack. Hi, Elowen.
Hi, Auntie Titania.
Hello. Is your dad in?
No, but Mom is.
Okay. Well, I drop in to say hi.
You want to come in? It's raining
Yeah.
outside.
It is.
We will let you in.
These are my friends.
Hello.
This is Val.
Hey.
And Ariel.
She does the little child like full arm wave thing.
Right.
Mommy's in the kitchen, and she leads you down the hallway, where there is a obviously older, definitely older than Titania as well, elven woman. That black hair, brown eyes, light skin, standing in the kitchen, like sort of preparing some sort of meal, wearing fairly modest looking but well put together clothes. Oh, hello, Titania. Welcome.
Hi, Cecilia.
And this is over Valdeth, and
Ariel.
pleasure to meet you. Armir is on patrol right now. He won't be back for a few hours.
Okay. I was just stopping by. I think we're planning on heading out of the city in a little bit, so I can't stay long, otherwise I'd stay and say hi to him. But we're going to be heading over to Grifftop in a day or two, and wanted to see if you wanted me to bring anything out for Brava or pass a message along.
Yeah, we do have, actually, Armir has a gift for her. I'll need to get it from him when he gets back. Can we bring it by, where are you guys living right now?
In the mercenary yards.
Yeah. We could bring it by the mercenary yards later tonight. Or would tomorrow be better?
I think...
If you bring it by tomorrow morning, if we're not there yet, give it to one of the dwarves who are there, and they'll hold on to it for us until we get back.
Certainly.
There you go.
She looks over to Tanya. Armir bought her some new swords, and we were going to give it to her. We're going to make our way out there to give it to her as a gift, but if you can get out there sooner, then it'll be more useful.
Yep.
If they ask, tell them Jarl Valdez said to hold on to these until they got back.
Certainly, Jarl Valdez. She says with a very slight smile.
All right. It was lovely to see
It
you.
was good seeing you too.
Give her a hug.
She
Head out.
returns the hug. Say goodbye, Elowen. Bye.
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 Gasp. Hey, Elowen. Guess what?
What?
Oh.
Turn your niece into an animal and we'll just leave it.
What would you do if this happened? I'm gonna cast fairy fire on her.
She's like, ooh, pretty, and she starts waving her hand around and looking at the as this multicolor, like, prismatic blue
You
and
glow in the
purple
dark now.
and pink fire is on her. She's like starts waving her hands around and doing like this little hand motion, and she looks at all the flickering multicolored fire.
Congratulations, your mother will never get that out of the carpet.
She's just sort of playing with the fire now.
Yep.
You have lost all interest.
Oh yeah. I'll wave bye and head out. Never mind.
Yeah. Close the door.
That was fun.
Rain.
See, that's the normal side of the family.
All right, let's get
Fair
back
enough.
and make our way out of the city for doing something incredibly dangerous.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Get anything else while you're out, Gent?
I mean, there is literally no reason he would know in character that he can go get a coat of many pockets holding bag thing, so no. Grr.
I feel like there's gonna be a point where we get back and you're gonna be like, "Where did you get that?" Oh, we're here, and then we're just gonna get there anyways.
No, he'll pick something up later if he notices anything. He's good with just the link pearls right now.
So yeah, you all get back. You have to re-network the link pearls because the advanced link pearls
Hey,
aren't
Ithram!
networked yet. Ithram will do so.
Carolina is back by now and will help out.
Hey, Carolina!
But yeah, you get the advanced link pearls networked. Unnetwork the old ones. You can keep them or shove them in a drawer or whatever you want.
Yeah, we'll keep them for backups just in case.
You all now have.
Can
advanced.
we keep the old ones networked, or does that?
Yeah, you can keep them.
not
You
how
can
that
keep them
works?
networked
Okay.
if you so desire.
You've got one in each ear. One
Yeah.
is the everyone call. One
Yeah.
is the better version.
The advanced.
Just the local one's international.
The advanced link pearls, similar. They're sort of these pearls on chains that are on earrings, that attach to your ear. But the pearl itself, has a slightly magical vibrance to it that the regular link pearls don't. So they are very easy to differentiate because of that.
I'm very sorry, John. I just wanted to make sure I heard this correctly. Are you saying we have a pearl necklace?
No, you've got a pearl earring.
Okay. You said it was on a chain around your neck, and I was like,
No, on a chain hanging from your ear.
From your earlobe.
thank God. I was worried for a minute there.
On a chain
Jesus,
hanging from
Nikki.
your ear.
My God.
I mean,
What?
there are
Pearls
places.
are beautiful.
There are places-
What are
Think
you
about the
talking about?
conversation that
There
just
are
happened.
places you can go to get a pearl necklace if you want, but
Like a jeweler.
like a jeweler,
for your anniversary.
exactly. For your wife. No,
We basically have Patara earrings.
kind of. But yeah, if you're all ready,
All right.
you all get back. You all get your link pearls. You show off your purchases. Ithram's like, so we want to go now.
Scuzz has been
Yes.
vibrating next to Ithram the entire time.
Scuzz will
Ready
not
to
stop
go.
doing this, so I assume we should go before Scuzz explodes.
Probably a
Mm.
good idea, yes. I think that'd be wise.
Everyone gather together and hold hands.
Let's
In a
get to
circle.
core.
Yay! I love hand holding.
Ithram stands in the
Link
middle
up.
of the circle, not holding anyone's hands. He sort of draws. He drops his flail to the floor and sort of drags them along the floor in particular patterns. And as he does this, you would think the flails would just scratch up the floor, but rather than scratching up the floor, they leave lines of arcane energy behind them that just sort of. He uses almost like a very heavy brush just to paint this arcane energy around the floor. 1 and 2 and make sure you're holding hands as he circles it around.
Scuzz is trying to scratch
you
his
let-
nose with his knee.
If you let go, if
he
you
means try.
if you let go or don't hold still, part of you will be left behind.
Mm.
And there is this flash of blue light that engulfs all of you as he finishes the circle. And it engulfs you, your vision completely blue and white. And as you sort of blink, because it's really bright, you feel the wooden floors under your feet are no longer there, but instead is this sort of stone tile. And as you blink, your eyes open, the light has faded away, and you are standing in a large room that has sort of white marble flooring and sort of dark granite walls. around which there are, arcane sigils all over the place, as well as a person sitting in a chair off to one side reading a book as you all appeared.
My vision went Azorus. I'm an ally. Oh no.
Hello.
Welcome to Kor, travelers from...
Taram.
if you wouldn't mind, this is pointing over to a log book that's on a pedestal. If you wouldn't mind signing in, and then you're free to go about the city.
All right. Valdeth will step over to the pedestal and fill out information.
Easiest border check ever.
Magic.
So you just in front of them. They're like, "Oh yeah, just write your name down."
Yep. You'll feel a slight tingle as you're exiting. Just going to verify the information you've put down in the book. And then you are free to enjoy the wonders of the city of Kor within the kingdom of Adal.
Do you have like a brochure, tour guide,
Pamphlets.
points of interest?
There's an information desk right outside.
Splendid.
Oh god, that fucking information desk.
Gent will write his name down
your-
and go for the info.
For your edification, you are currently within the what was the building called? I named it.
The person sitting there like, "Sorry, it's been a long day.
Well, it's been so long
I've
since
forgotten where I work."
It's been so long since we were in Kor. I forgot what the name of the fucking building was.
It's been 10 millennia since we've been here. We'll take the hit.
You're in the Triumvirate building, which I can't remember what it's
Yeah.
Ooh,
Every building.
that means nothing.
called.
Same.
Gives you a name. And yeah, you sign in. As you exit out the door, there is this like sort of almost like it's almost like a static signal that runs through the very core of your being as you step through the door.
Whoa.
It's like if you became the
Congratulations, they
TV
got
static.
your DNA now.
Kind of.
Nice.
It's literally just called a triumvirate.
Is it just the Triumvirate? Yeah, you're in the
mhm.
Triumvirate of the
I went over to the Gran Terra rebirth room and
Yeah.
pulled up the city of Kor.
the Triumvirate of Kor.
My teeth feel funny.
Yeah.
It's
Because they're shaped weird.
actually if any of you have ever accidentally like touched a piece of metal that you were holding to an electric line, to like a cattle line, that's kind of what it
Right,
felt
yeah.
like.
There's that
was
sort of
imagining, like-
insta-tense. Yep, right.
Like sucking on a battery.
Worse than that. I accidentally when I was much younger, I was like carrying a sword on my shoulder, and we used to have a cattle line around the top of our fence.
Electric fences suck, man.
It wasn't very
It was-
powerful, but it was meant to keep the dogs from jumping over the fence. And I ducked underneath it and stood up too quickly, and the sword connected with it and my shoulder, and it was like,
And it wasn't super strong, but
No.
one of our dogs had a mighty leap and would constantly clear the fence, so we had to put it
Is
up.
he leap?
Yep.
Like a gazelle.
I grew up in dairy country. I've had my fair share of run-ins with electric fences.
Yeah, it feels like that.
Mhm.
There's no visual indicator of what's happening, but you're not immediately arrested, so presumably it's fine.
All right. Headed to the
Looking
info
around.
desk.
Yeah.
Also, my teeth aren't weird. They're
No.
goblin teeth.
Yeah, they're fine.
It'd be weird if you had goblin teeth and I had your teeth. That would be weird. You think one of
Yes,
the
it
cards could
would.
do
Not
that?
try that.
Again,
Probably one of the cards could do that and worse.
again,
Ariel?
to clarify, are we doing this within the boundaries of the city? I thought we were doing it outside.
Yes, that was my plan as well.
Okay, I wanted to be clear before, so
No.
everybody knew. Before
Valid
we-
clarification.
we maximize damage within a heavily populated urban area.
I'm
According
thinking we
to the
find...
map, the nearest gate is here.
Right.
So
Let's
I think
head
we
that
need
way.
to. And doing the like tourist Disneyland navigation.
Yeah,
Yes.
so you said about there's an information booth. There are people crowded around. The first thing you notice is that people are dressed far more warmly here than they are in Taram. And Taram has lots of flowing loose designs and things. Here you're seeing people that actually have long sleeves and have, fur cloaks and the like.
Oh my
So
God,
what I'm
can't see the
gathering is they're
wrists.
wimps who don't want to just wear basically nothing.
I
Ooh,
pull
God.
out Druidcraft to see what the weather's like here before we step outside.
It is quite chilly outside. It's about
Oh.
30 degrees colder outside here than it was back in Tehran.
Oh, okay. That's gonna be fun.
So we're
Nice.
heading for Argon's Gate. All right.
It's kind of cold outside.
But yeah, the information core is this large circular city that sort of butts up against a dock area of a lake that goes underneath a natural arch in the mountain range to head out into the body of water beyond. The first thing you notice, there are flags for the Kingdom of the Kingdom of Adal, like pennants and heraldry, are all over the place. Which is this gold and silver and blue colored pennant that is sort of hanging from walls in various places, as well as the guards are wearing a very similar gold, silver, and blue outfit. Everything is much more, from a Tyrian perspective, rural looking. Like, the fashions are definitely older fashions. The guard outfits are a distinctly different style of armor. And once you step outside, it's like the cobblestone is much looser. The buildings are definitively older. And there isn't metal and electricity everywhere.
I'm slightly judging it.
So we
I'm
should
staying
Welcome to
close
Skyrim, guys.
Go out of the city, find our unpopulated spot tonight, set up camp there, because we wanted to do this in the morning.
Yes.
Correct.
This is smart.
Or possible alternative, find a inn close to that gate and,
Shouldn't-
sleep with a roof over our heads?
We have plenty of time. Let's scope it out tonight.
Yes. No, valid. Yes,
So
I'm
that
just...
we don't waste all of tomorrow.
We have
Yes.
tents.
If nothing bad happens.
Do
We
you-
only
do-
waste
do
time
you have
tomorrow
tents?
if we need to deal with something tomorrow.
Gent didn't bring a tent. We were headed to a major urban center.
I have a tent.
I do have a tent. I also have a couple of gold pieces that will get me a room so I don't have to sleep in a tent. Therefore, I am not sleeping in a goddamn tent.
Tents are
No
fun,
offense.
Does the
Well,
we're doing dangerous things outside the city in the morning. People can sleep in an inn if they want to for the night.
Yeah, we'll decide, but we can we're gonna scope it out.
Decide
It's out there.
individually. If you want to sleep in a
Yeah,
tent,
right.
I'm
I
not gonna
was gonna
stop
say,
you.
we're not disparaging anybody's
No.
choices to sleep outside the city in a tent. If you want a camping trip, by all means,
Absolutely
enjoy
not.
yourself.
Scuzz, do you want to stay outside or?
Kind of want to make sure that our testing area doesn't get taken over by cool beach vacationers. So I'll stay in a tent.
I'll stay out with you.
Does the pamphlet say who the current twin leaders of the Sundered Templar are? Just to poke your brain.
No.
I don't want to have to do a volleyball competition
Because
against them
the
to get rights
Sundered-
to the land.
The
No,
Sundered
or, like,
Templar are not
Thrashers
the
or
Sundered
something like
Templar
that.
are a faction that operates within the area, but they do not headquarter in Core. Their
Okay.
headquarters is north, up by Undermountain.
They've moved.
No, they've always been
But-
north. They
Oh, right,
don't-
yeah, they
were
always
never
had the Sundered
headquartered.
Cathedral.
Yeah.
we were always like, oh, we should go see the Sundered Templar.
Never
but
did.
It's too far.
But that would require traveling. Fuck that.
But if I could become king of the testing area and get my own little crown, that'd be great.
So a couple things you notice
Yeah.
as you guys are walking through the city, aside from it being much more rural than you're used to for a city. It's cold because you are all wearing Tyrian fashions. It is
Yeah.
it's
Bare
30
arms.
degrees colder outside here than it was in Tehran. It's not raining, but it's cold. Like Tehran typically stays at like a balmy low 80s, upper mid 70s year round, basically until the dead of winter when it drops.
Yeah. Can I get some blankets Because Scuzz and I are gonna stay outside.
If you
It
want.
seems like a good idea. So we can
There
be
are
comfortable.
there are a variety of you actually have to pass through the market area of Core as you're heading out, and it's just like a bizarre market stall basically. Like there are covered stalls selling all manner of things.
Is it a bazaar?
Yes. Well, no. Yes, actually, because they do have weird common magical items. But yeah, it's basically like if you've ever been to like a farmer's market where like they just have like all the things like sort of clustered together. It's like that, but slightly more maze-y.
Since they have
Do they
strange
by any
magical-
chance sell a common magical item that is a camping space heater?
They sell they do sell these they're basically these large red stones that you utter the command phrase and they generate heat in a certain radius just until they're turned off.
I'll buy
Toasty
one
toes.
of those.
Portable campfire.
And it's 50 gold.
How much is that?
50 gold.
Cool.
You know, a year's salary for a peasant.
Yeah,
Junk
I'll
change for
get a
us.
couple of like
How much?
50
How-
gold.
fluffy blankets. Basically.
I'm sorry, a year's salary for a peasant?
The lifetime
50
earnings
years
of most
salary for a
peasants.
peasant.
Depends on the region, but yes.
I'm gonna get some fluffy blankets.
You are Ghent, you are unimaginably more wealthy than most people in the world right now.
Right. Yep. Mhm.
Fluffy blankets.
You have more.
and
You
I'm
have
gonna,
more money than some churches do.
I'm also
You're
gonna
about
look.
to be protested against.
Congratulations, you are a 1%er. You need to shave your head now.
Oh goddamn.
No, don't do
I'm
it.
gonna look also because there's strange magical items. If there's any like weird food things, something like that.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
Gus likes that stuff.
So one thing
Yes, hello. I would like to buy 3 senators, please.
another thing you notice, there's a lot more cooking of monster parts here than there is in Taram.
Is there like a cool little cat guy that's just like?
There is a tabaxi that is serving like that has a food stall, and yeah, like
Is he?
It's like
Would he be
he
described as
Jack?
meowscular?
he would be described as meowscular, yes.
Yes. If
Uh,
anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, it's Monster Hunter. There's
I
some
don't-
very good cat cutscenes.
yeah,
I don't play Monster Hunter, but I know distinctly the scene of like the cat throwing this gigantic steak in front of you.
No, watch those cutscenes.
Like,
I
there
don't care
are-
if you care about Monster Hunter.
there are bits of various monstrosities and aberrations hanging up around the stall that that sort of like almost as a performance piece. The tabaxi is like unhooks, lays down, pulls out a pair of cleavers, and just like and prepares the meal in front of people, throws it on the fire, grabs the next thing, throws it on
I'm
another
getting
fire.
food there, and
grabs
also
another
everywhere
thing.
else.
Throws it on the fire. The first one's done. Flips it over. Puts it on the table. Slides at the person. Takes the money. Next one's done. Flips it over. Puts it on the table.
Take some
slides it over.
onions and like oil them up and set them off like a volcano. Throw some shrimp in somebody's mouth.
Yeah, it's this sort of like food performance kind of thing
A
happening.
hibachi.
Yes, a hibachi.
If I retire, I'm starting this kind of shop.
Yes.
Do it.
I think you'd enjoy
Yes.
doing this kind of business, Carolina.
Food's only a few copper. So it's
Yeah.
a few
I've
copper
got
a meal.
30 copper. I'm spending all of it.
Damn. Big spender today.
Yeah,
You go on there are various fabric traders. You can absolutely buy a warm cloak or blankets or whatever you're looking for a few silver.
Yep.
Like 3 silver, we'll say, for blankets.
Yep, I get us some blankets.
Carolina chooses not to change attire because barbarians.
I mean, I feel like Scuzz with his revived nature doesn't need comforts, but it's nice.
But you pass through the marketplace, head out.
Kent's going to get a dramatic scarf to go with his cloak.
2 silver.
One that he can pull
All right.
up to hide his
Yep,
face
mhm,
dramatically.
Valdeth
Yep,
just gets
yep,
like
yep.
the
There you
giant
go.
fur cloak that can clasp around the armor. That just like
I-
drapes
It's
around
like
someone's shoulder and completely hides their figure.
made of a wolf kind of thing.
Yeah, just like that kind of cloak that just completely hides the person underneath it, where it like completely encircles them.
I'm literally imagining the
silver.
coats they give football players when they're not playing, but they don't want them to be cold, and it's literally just it's big enough to go over their
Yep.
the
mhm.
equipment.
Yep,
I, for
over
one-
the whole shoulder pads. And everything.
I, for one, am super excited to hear how this sentence that John's tried to say 7 times now ends.
Yeah, sorry.
3 silver for the cloak. But yeah, so you eventually make your way through the marketplace, head out to the to the Argon Gate, which is the southern gate heading out of the city. You pass through it relatively uneventfully, and you notice that there is a large, colorful tent parked just outside the city gates, off to one side.
Nope.
Ooh,
Nope.
that?
With a
Nope.
big
we're not
sign.
going there.
With a big sign that says "Masked Carnival"
No. No.
Absolutely not.
and a line
This
of
way,
people.
Valdeth says, indicating away from it.
And a line of people, like sort of outside, waiting to get in. And
See,
so,
this
like,
is why I want
counter-
to scout tonight.
under the sign for the masked carnival, it says, "Witness wonders you have never seen before. Magic the like,
Sealed.
magic the like never before believed to exist."
Oh,
to
I
do that in the
am
field.
running. I am actively running. And if anyone seems to even mildly be heading in that direction, I am grappling them as I am running.
Counterpoint.
Worded
as
or
Gent is
away?
being grappled.
Askend is being body chucked as we go in the opposite direction out into the wilderness.
I like the idea that
Not-
Gent is still talking over to Tanya's or Carolina's shoulder
Oh,
as
yeah,
he's being carried
absolutely,
off.
absolutely.
Counterpoint, we pass off our experimentation as one of their display events.
I don't know that we'll be able to pull that off.
Nope.
Does
Gent
to
for
see what that
Gent,
is.
Gent not being in possession of a can of hairspray and a lighter is grappled and carried away.
Yeah, I mean, I guess all of your magic does come out of your gun.
Yep, pretty much.
So Carolina carrying Gent and Ariel run off in one direction. Valdeth presumably is also going the other direction. Titania,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Do I notice that Scuzz has disappeared?
Yeah,
27.
yeah. You definitely notice that Scuzz isn't there anymore. You don't know where Scuzz went, but Scuzz is not there.
I think I can guess.
You could probably guess.
I'm gonna.
There's,
I'm gonna.
Titania, you as you're still standing there, sort of like because you're the only one still standing there. You see, there's yet another sign next to the masked carnival that says, see the woman who is both human and ooze.
I'm gonna go gaseous and start infiltrating.
So, Carolina,
And I'm trying to find Scuzz, but I'm also looking at other things.
Carolina, Gent, Valdeth, and Ariel, as you are running this way, you realize 2 of your party are missing.
I realize that they're like, I should have known. I should have bloody well known.
They'll catch up.
Fuck!
They'll catch up. I'm not going there.
Realize that you can just tell them to get their asses back here with your new nice magic pearls.
I mean, yes, because she listens to me so often.
You know what's
I mean-
very, very annoying? When you're trying to investigate a new place and you're getting a sending message in your ear every 6 seconds.
Hey, Titania! Hey, Titania! Hey, Titania! Hey, Titania! Hey,
I
Titania!
can't
Hey,
answer
Titania!
because
I'll-
I can't
I'll-
take
come
any
here,
actions.
come here.
I'll
or
remind
interact with
you.
objects.
I'll remind you that you can't actually hear what's going on, what's coming through the
Yeah.
pearl until it's in your ear. It just starts vibrating.
Yep. So it's just
A piece
buzzing.
of the
Yep.
gaseous cloud
Mhm.
just vibrates.
Yep, I'm looking for Scuzz.
So, Scuzz,
Yeah.
you have snuck into this tent.
Yeah.
Did you leave any money at the gate, or are you just sneaking in?
Oh no, yeah, he definitely. Hold up, let me roll that real quick. Yeah, he like passed by where the ticket thingy is, like got a ticket, slid money, went in. Definitely was not seen.
Yeah.
Just was like, I'm not gonna. That's mean.
I just didn't want to wait in line.
I just didn't want to wait in line. Yeah.
There.
I guess.
Scuzz walked in holding a ladder, and everyone's like, "Oh, yep, he's
Do crime sometimes. That doesn't make me a criminal.
exactly."
Let me find her name really quick. You get in just as a performance is beginning. There is this.
I don't mean to disrupt you, John, but someone wants to say night night. Say night night.
Night night.
We're gonna go see a circus.
Circus?
Yeah, a spooky circus.
It's fine. It gives me time to find a name.
Spooky circus.
Yeah, it's gonna be super scary. All right, go read some books.
Very spooky.
Yeah, very spooky. I love you.
Like skeletons and pumpkins and ghosts.
Mm-hmm. Those are all spooky things. Close the door. I love you.
Why can't I find the thing that I'm looking for?
I hope you could hear that, Jack.
We could all hear it.
It's important for Jack to hear it because he wasn't here to see it.
I saw it.
Oh, you did? Oh.
So yeah, so you get in, and there's a performance currently happening in sort of the center of the thing. There's people in stands all over the place. People still coming in, but there is there's an announcer sort of echoing through this tent, and Titania, you're hearing this as you come in via thing.
Mm-hmm.
Behold the wonders of animancy. As this woman wearing very little, like sort of like almost basically a dancer's attire, so you can see most of her body. It's a human woman, dark brown skin, curly black hair that's sort of pulled back into sort of like a bob, kind of like a very frizzy bob. Wearing a blue mask across her face and sort of standing in front of a large metal door. It's just like solid slab of metal with a handle on it and a frame around it, but obviously you can see to both sides. And as this narrator recites what's going on, it's sort of like telling a story about, a person who went into the depths of the uncharted frontier to find the secrets of ancient magic locked away for centuries. She sort of like walks over to the door, grabs the door handle, and like turns it, twists it, and tries to walk through. And it's locked, so it doesn't open. And so tries this a couple of times, mimes pushing against it and shoving it. Then sort of has like a thoughtful pose, snaps her finger as if she had an idea, and then looks at her arm, which you now realize has turned gray and vaguely see-through. She reaches over with her arm, puts it against the side of the door, and it just squeezes through the crack between the door and the frame as if it was made of like a viscous liquid rather than physical form. She pushes her arm through it, and it reforms on the other side of the door to the gasps and applause of the audience. And she reaches down to like unlock the door, thinks about it, and just continues through. As the rest of her body also takes on this sort of amorphous ooze-like quality, as she just pushes herself through the tiniest crack in the door, appearing on the other side to a round of applause.
That was cool. Okay, and then Scuzz leaves.
Titania, make a perception check.
Sure.
Some cards.
26.
You do not see Scuzz leave. So yeah,
Okay.
you're in the tent. You don't see Skuz anywhere.
Okay, I'm gonna keep looking.
Okay. As you sort of make a as you sort of make a circuit around the tent, the next performer comes out, and it's an individual who, the storytelling continues on as they're talking about this weird magic that these individuals called animists use. As another person comes out, and it's sort of like this again, it's this human, but they've got this vaguish like green tint of like scale like form on them. This person holds up their arm and holds up a large cleaver, and the announcer is like, for those of you in the audience that are squeamish, turn away now. And some members of the audience turn away as this performer lops their arm off at the elbow.
Gasp.
With one firm strike, and no blood comes out as the arm just begins to regrow. As the announcer continues talking about the various mystical qualities. At this point, you've made a full circuit and haven't seen Skuz.
Wow. Okay. That was interesting. I've never seen anything like that before. Probably.
No.
Okay. Skuz is good at hiding. Do I know
where are you going, Skuz?
Skuz gets outside the tent and he walks a ways away. Then he puts the pearl earring back and he's like, "There's just people doing magic, nothing special. Where are you guys at?" Trying to contact the other people.
You all hear Skuz.
I'll give Skuz a direction. And bring Titania!
Okay. Skuz turns around and goes back to the tent. I didn't see you go in. Is she also sneaky?
At some point, Carolina will stop running. Sorry. And get down. I know that there are many, many people in this world that both do magic and wear masks, but there are some specific people that do magic and wear masks that I really don't want to run into.
That's perfectly understandable.
Skuz is out. And Titania's out, I guess. I did have a request for the two of you, indicating Beldeth and Gent. If we're doing the deck thing, let me go first. I'm not going to stop you from letting Skuz go, but
I'm perfectly fine with that.
I mean, it's ultimately up to Gent, but do you have a particular reason for wanting to throw yourself under this particular magical bus?
It's...
Ariel's just looking at her nails at the moment.
It's a transit method that we have in Everstone.
I read
I
a
assume
book
from
about
context
them.
you don't
They
want to be
can
underneath.
grow and
No, it's
shrink
large and heavy.
Fly occasionally, right?
It's underground bull spiders, but UBS just had a disgusting sound to it, so they swapped the B and the U when they were trademarking it.
And Carolina has read the Magic School Bus because backstory. Yeah, they're yellow things. I've read about them. Anyways, the reason, I'll be honest,
Crafted by
the main
House
reason
Rizal.
is what I already said. That I have a particular relationship to magic. And even though I understand that it's yours and your legacy, I am taking this more personally than I should. I do believe that I am more durable. All the things I said about that are true. But mostly, to be honest, the sort of thing that I have a strong attachment to is in front of me, and it's hard and frustrating to think that that's something someone else is going to do or someone else is going to deal with.
Certainly.
So, given the option, I'd like
For
to
the next
go
18 hours, you're an honorary retainer of House Minar or something by my newly acquired official status as a noble of Terra.
Oh, you're going to have so much fun playing around with that.
No, it's bullshit.
I need to teach you some of the things that my mother taught me.
All right.
Honestly, of the nobility you could be, the Tyrian nobility are pretty mild.
I want spicy nobility.
Carolina,
Yeah.
I just want to propose a thought, and I'm not going to stand in the way of anything. You do what you're going to do. But theoretically, you're trying to take the bullet before someone else can. Correct.
A little bit, though that's not the main reason. Sorry, go ahead.
It's all right. What happens if theoretically you pull a very good card, and then the card that gets pulled next is damnation and ruin and all the rest?
Yeah, that's why I'm being honest.
Yes.
Because
Which I appreciate.
it's not, I understand that could happen. There are about 40% odds that I get a card that is either not that bad or actively good. And that doesn't change the odds for the next person, except for potentially very mildly. It's not important. Rough odds remain about the same. Now, I understand that that could further incentivize the people who would be at the greatest risk to draw. However, and if my full motivation was to take the bullet, I would eat the deck of many things or go off and stealthily do it without telling anyone.
Oh, that would kill you.
The second. Yes, John. I know
feel like
that
when you
that's a
eat
bad
the deck,
idea.
every
but
card
my
fires
character
off.
eats magical items.
You eat the deck, you just draw the void.
I mean, probably. Yeah, anyways. So
You want to fight the deck, and since you cannot fight the deck, this is the next best thing.
I want to be the one that grapples with the deck first.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You want to test yourself against the deck, essentially, is the most neutral way to put it, that describes both a fight and let's see what card comes out.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to argue this. I was not trying to convince you out of it. I just
to be
wanted the
clear,
reasons right on the table.
If this was the sort of magic item that we could leave alone forever and leave somewhere, I might be able to dissuade myself of this. But because we have to do it anyway, my only way of telling myself it's not a big deal is gone.
That's fair.
So, Titania loops back toward the. She's basically trying to stay
I'm gonna
within
say-
the tent so she can see the.
Yeah, I'm gonna say by this point, the two of you have seen each other at this point.
Okay.
Gus does not know that Titania is a gas.
You've seen this gaseous cloud before, though. Like it is a distinct, remote, animate cloud of gas.
Also, it buzzes. Like part of it buzzes. I mean.
Hold on.
I like to imagine it wears a little princess crown.
Okay. Okay, if I rolled a lower, you see how I was actually ahead of my brain. Scuzz going up to the ticket desk and be like, "Hi, my friend went into the tent and I can't find them because I'm very short. Can you please help me find them by putting me on your shoulders?"
No, you do see each other.
But I see you.
I will coalesce. Hi. There you are.
Yep. I went inside for a second, and yeah, it wasn't as cool as I thought it was. Unless you thought it was cool.
Yeah, it was kind of. The oozes are kind of fun. I've never been in ooze, but
I wouldn't
good.
suggest it. Let's go.
Hey,
I found
we're still
Titania.
alive.
Like both of them at the same time.
But
All right, go ahead and meet up with us.
you
We're
gather
getting
together.
ready to do the thing.
Okay.
Where are you?
I indicate the direction
So
we
does
went off
you
in.
gather together. You have found.
So does Titania's link pearl just is it shaking now with so many of these call waiting notifications
No,
that have stacked up?
because
over
they
the
only
la-
vibrate while you're doing it, and you gotta stop doing it.
Okay.
I was gonna say that could have some unintended.
You've gone into there's a small copse of woods to the west of the southern gate. They sort of ducked into and found a clearing. We'll say. You all gather back together there. Ithram pipes up. So, were we wanting to do it now or sleep first and then do it?
Sleep first.
Definitely.
Okay.
This looks like a good spot though.
I can help set up the tent.
Yeah.
I'm going to go sleep in an inn.
Have fun.
All right. See you in the morning.
Ithram leaves.
Call if you need anything, love. Right? Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh snap! Are all of us doing the camping vacation?
Absolutely fucking not.
I
Oh,
think
I'm
it's
going
just
to sleep
you,
in an-
me, and Carolina. Honestly.
Okay.
The rest
Yay!
of us, the rest of us are
Slumber
going to go
party.
find some inn rooms.
The rest of us like beds.
So it's the people who make bad decisions and the people who care about out appearances.
And the people that care about sleeping in a bed and not on the ground.
Yeah.
But you all get another long rest.
Yay! I don't think I lost anything.
Rooms at the inn are 2 silver each.
Hey.
And
Do you
Titania wants
want to
to
get
talk
2 separate rooms, Gent, or do you just want to grab one?
I'll pay for one.
That was, man, you're dense sometimes.
I'm paying for one for both of us.
Okay, all right.
Then again, Valdeth could have just come out and said, "You're sharing a room with me."
Yes, I'm sharing a room with my fiance.
you all take a long rest.
Titania wants to talk to Scuzz at some point. I assume
Okay.
we have like sort of watches. I don't know.
You're right next to the city. And a
Yeah,
carnival.
Yeah, at some point she's
But
gonna.
then again, Carolina will need to sleep, and Titania is a full elf, so she trances, and Scuzz doesn't sleep. So you
Yeah.
probably
Yep.
have some time.
You definitely
Oh, yeah.
Scuzz doesn't need to sleep, but he does need to relax for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You can talk while you're relaxing, though.
Hi, Scuzz.
Scuzz looking up at the stars. Hey, I'm
Nice,
sorry I
aren't
left
they?
you at the tent. I didn't know you followed me.
Oh no, that's okay. I didn't tell you I was coming.
I didn't tell you I
want
was going.
Yeah. I just didn't want you to get stuck or think just in case.
Thanks.
Welcome. So, what are you hoping will happen with the deck? What's your
Well,
ideal card?
can I tell you a secret?
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I, right now, have seen one of those decks.
Mm-hmm.
But
A previous you?
yes.
No. What happened last time?
Well, the first time they drew a card,
The first.
yes. They opened a gate to hell and sacrificed a goat, and
Whoa.
this centipede lady
Okay.
destroyed a whole field of flowers. It was terrifying.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
But then the second time we drew a card, we summoned a bunch of goddesses that helped us kill undead god thing. And then one more time,
pretty
someone
cool.
drew a card, and they got like a second. They got like copied, and they had
Whoa.
like a buddy forever. That was them.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's weird. It's a weird card. It's a weird deck. It's very
Mhm.
scary. And
I'm scared for you.
Yeah. I get it. Y'all don't want me to like get hurt or do anything, and I probably freaked you out when I said, I'm okay with dying. But
No, I kind of. No. I don't know. I don't quite get it. But
like they talked about the one card apparently that can actually this is sorry. Did in character they mention that there is a card that can take everything away from you?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
one of the ones Carolina mentioned.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that was in character, not just out of character stuff about the deck. Okay. Yeah, Carolina mentioned there's a card in there that can take everything away from you. And I've already had everything taken away from me like 3 times now. So I mean, it would suck to have it happen again, but at least this time I get to choose.
like previous use, I'm confused.
I mean, I've died. And
Mm-hmm. But that's not everything. There are things more important than dying.
that's true. But I've lost friends. I miss them. Now that I know that
Do you
all of this.
want? I have this. She hauls out the crystal ball that Gent got her.
That's
I don't.
pretty.
Yeah, isn't it? Did you want? I don't think. I can't show you what's in it. I think I can only am the only one who can see it, but I can try and see anyone for you. And there's that whole thing with like I don't know. Did you want me to check?
Well, I think there's only one person that would still be alive at this point. But it's been 10,000 years. She might not be.
I
on
have
this plane.
relatives older than that.
That's true. She's a tree.
You have relative
Okay.
older than that.
What?
You have relative older than that.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have anything of hers? That's the easiest, I think, way to help it happen. No. Okay. Can you describe her, or them? Sorry.
She used to be blue.
Okay, blue.
But then she became
a tree.
Well, the way she described it, like whenever I met her, she would walk out of a tree. But
I can do that.
She was like a whole forest.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. Her name is Midna. She's really cool.
Okay.
Like before she used to be about like, the cycle of life and death and everything. So it was like, she was like, it's, kind of important for her to be a part of a forest sort of stuff. Kind of like you.
Yeah. Is that the one you keep confusing me with, or is that someone else?
Nope, that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you're not blue, unless you get, like, cold. Really, really cold.
Well, we have the rock, so we're good. I mean, if we had some of those weird drinks again, we might turn blue. You turned blue.
That was funny.
It was fun. Okay, I'm gonna try it. and she is going to cast scrying on this very vague description. So I guess second hand. +5.
You see nothing in the scrying orb.
Okay. All right. She sits there for a minute, for a while, trying to like, nope. Okay, sorry it didn't work. But thanks for
That's
telling
okay.
me about them.
That's fine. I mean, I still got you guys, and I got Lavisa and Mom and Scum, and oh no, I forgot his name. I feel terrible. Look at my notes.
Somebody
Somebody important.
significant.
Yep.
Adam?
Oh Jesus! Like, Devarian. My other best friend made me the poncho.
All right, well,
But
make sure you get to draw a card tomorrow.
yeah,
It's important
even
to you.
it's important to me because I'm not rushing to my death.
Mm.
That I'm not, but I don't like how a lot of my things keep getting taken out of my control. And even though this is a really like kind of scary thing, I'm still being the one to choose to pull a card.
Yeah, and then it's just fate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we have to face it, whatever kind of terrible thing it is. Or a good thing. It could also
Yeah.
be a good thing.
It could be a
Or
very good thing.
we can make a second Scuzz, which sounds awesome.
That's a lot of scuds.
It's a lot of Scuzz.
All right, good night.
Night. And he says as he like keeps his eyes open, but he's like looking
Yeah.
back up, looking at the stars.
All right.
Titania's gonna pray after that
Okay.
to the God Emperor
Okay.
that Scuzz gets a good card.
Okay.
Aw.
That's it.
Y'all have a long rest. You reconvene in the same spot.
Yep.
It hasn't been overrun by anything.
No vagabonds, no teens
I mean,
on vacation,
There's you
What
guys
is
who
the
will
three of you?
qualify as vagabonds, but
no other vagabonds.
All right, Scuzz. Scuzz gets to draw a card.
All right. So, Carolina is going to choose first. Scuzz, you're going to choose after her.
all right. You should be able to see a deck of cards on screen. Draw a
How
card.
many are you taking?
I don't. I'm gonna refresh.
It is currently broken images to me, but I see it.
I think the image you're using for the back of the cards isn't loading.
This is just the default thing for Roll20, so
Yeah, it's just a blue deck of cards.
Yep.
Well,
see if it draws one
I
when you
can't
click on
see
it.
the images, but I'm gonna click the draw button anyways
Yeah.
because I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I can't see it. It's fine. I don't need to see it. Titania's not drawing.
Draw. Oh my god! It gives you a dialogue box for how many cards you draw.
I mean,
Good. Yeah.
You could fuck yourself over in so many ways simultaneously.
yeah.
How many cards
I
you draw?
think, to be fair, I think you can only draw a certain number.
No, you can draw any. You just have to declare
No,
how many.
I mean that the Roll20 system.
Yeah. Yeah. You before you draw, you declare how many you want to draw, and then you draw that number. And if you
Yeah.
don't draw the number you declared by the time an hour has passed, the rest of them just pop out of the deck and activate.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Again, the images are not loading for me, so I don't know what I've drawn yet.
I don't see it.
I didn't see
Any
it
of it.
either.
It's over.
I
It's over
see-
Carolina's
It's a broken
name.
PNG.
Oh, it's over
Mhm.
Carolina's name. Okay, hang on.
Yeah, you have one right now.
Yes, there's one over
Hang
my
on,
name.
it
I
won't-
can't read it.
It won't let me see it either. Which is weird because I have it set to let me see it.
I could steal it?
Yep.
Do you want me
I
to
don't think that will help.
I mean,
Um,
if you steal it, we'll see what it is.
Yeah, Scuzz
Okay.
does not want to try and steal the card from you. Nikki wants
No,
to
I
steal
mean
it to see if
the
I can
rendering. If it renders for you, great, but
It's my deck. I'm stealing it.
see it. Okay, do it.
It says stealing.
let it go. Sorry, there's a thing in the way of the
Oh,
dialogue.
yeah, now it's over
Yeah.
gas.
The two of spades.
Okay.
I don't
Guys,
see.
okay.
I still don't see any of this. So
Yeah, me either. It's fine.
They're little tiny images of JPEGs in the place that the card images would.
So you have drawn.
Nope.
You have drawn. You draw. So Carolina, you reach out and you draw one card, and you look at it, and it is a scale.
Oh, bitch!
Oh.
I don't know what that one is.
And
Carolina does not like
Your
scales.
brain hurts
Okay.
yeah, this is bad. This
as
is
your
real
this
bad.
as your alignment inverts.
Oh!
Real bad.
Let me check my alignment real quick.
Are you true neutral?
I'm lawful neutral.
You are
Now
now
you're chaotic
chaotic
neutral.
Oh,
Cool.
goody.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
But as far as everyone else, you just look like you got a headache,
Yeah.
and that's pretty much all that happened.
Join us.
I'm so excited.
As the
Honestly,
party shifts more chaotic. Yeah.
Narratively, that would have been the card that I would have hoped for
Oh.
Gent, honestly. Because I would love for him to go neutral
Okay.
evil at some point.
Well, Carolina's as much as anything annoyed because Libra.
Scuzz, how many
Yeah.
cards are you drawing?
12.
I can.
12. 12. 12.
No,
Dude.
that's too
I mean,
many.
Kirk.
Can I draw 3?
Oh dear.
Oh boy.
Oh my.
You can, but that's a lot.
That's very dangerous.
Do one and see how
See,
you like it.
I was accused of being a martyr. I think Scuzz just has a death wish.
Scuzz does it. Nikki does.
No reason to call him out on it. No.
That is an inevitability. Yes. Scuzz is going to draw 3 cards.
All right, so draw
My
the first.
God.
He's going
draw the
to
first
draw.
one.
He's going to. Actually, yeah, I can't. I can't decide if I wanted to draw them like one at a time or all 3 at
Well,
once.
you draw them one like. I mean, yeah, I guess.
You have to draw them one at a time.
I don't think
The
so.
effects occur one
The
at
effects
a time.
occur one at a time. So just
Right.
for
You can
So basically,
You
before
can
you
draw-
draw a card, you must declare how many good cards you intend to draw and draw them randomly.
yeah.
Yes. Okay.
As soon as you draw a card from the deck, its magic takes effect. You must draw each card no more than 1 hour after the previous draw.
If you
Otherwise,
fail to draw the chosen number, the remaining cards fly from the deck on their own and take effect
Okay.
all at once.
Yeah. Scuzz is like, I'm gonna draw 3.
all right. So draw your first one.
Ooh.
Draw
Oh,
1
God.
card. It's the King of Spades.
God
Okay.
damn it, the spade. Yeah,
So- Scuzz.
Oh,
so
God.
oh.
Oh,
you
God.
draw. You draw
Oh, God.
the image. You draw an image of like an earthquake. As Scuzz, you are suddenly naked. All of
Still
the
got the shoes.
all of the
got the
equipment,
slippers.
magical items, and
Well,
gold.
other than
you
magic
have,
items.
Oh, sorry.
All
other
forms
than-
of wealth that you carry your own other than magic items.
All
are
of
lost
your
to you.
equipment, other than your magic items, and all of your money, are gone.
So you see Scuzz standing there naked. He still has the cloak. Thankfully his like sword thingy is in a pocket dimension. And his boots. He's still got on his spider climb shoes. So he's got his
Yep.
cloak and his boots, and he's just like,
Do you want a blanket? It's kind of chilly out.
some
Hold on,
pants would be nice.
Before we give anything else, just
There are 2 more cards.
Yeah.
You can
Draw
draw
another
this
one.
again.
let those cards draw, because ruin could come up again.
You know what? Yeah, Scuzz is going to he like all the stuff that he lost in his thingy. Oh, he also has the bracers and the tattoo.
Yeah,
like
so you got the bracers and the
Yeah.
tattoos still. So
yeah,
you're
Actually,
not-
I think those cards need to be put back in the deck.
Oh.
'cause right now they can't be
the,
drawn.
this deck is infinite.
Okay.
You can set it. You can set the deck to be infinite, and it only loses cards when you decide to remove them. So
Okay. Fair.
Scuzz is going to take off all of
And it
his
just-
stuff and just put it off to the
and
side.
he just draws randomly each time.
And pick up a blanket and tie it around his waist for,
Okay.
for modesty.
Right. Draw your second card.
Okay. The second card is the Queen of Hearts. Oh
Okay.
boy.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is fun. This is great. I'm enjoying myself.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Not bad,
Hang
it's
on.
not bad.
Hang on. So
That one
you
was
draw
always
you
done.
draw a card, and it is in the shape of a key.
Oh.
And actually, that works.
I know this
that
one.
works perfectly well. The
deck give us and the deck take us away.
the card shifts. It has to be a weapon. Okay, hang on. Has to be a weapon.
There are a lot of things you could justify as this is a weapon.
Yeah, the thing I was going
It
to go
has
was
to be a
not
weapon that you're
though.
proficient in. As
We are
well.
currently drawing from a weapon.
It's true. What
need a
what are
deck.
your weapon proficiencies, Scuzz?
As a rogue, I am proficient with crossbows, long swords, rapiers, short swords, and all simple weapons. So
Vorpal
a
sword.
rapier.
Vorpal sword. Vorpal sword. Vorpal sword.
Be great.
Okay.
Or something curse.
Actually, just because it's fun. There's a bookmark in your hand.
Oh shit! I know what this is because a player accidentally put this in on their character sheet for a one shot. Yeah, so it's like, oh, it's fancy. It's nice.
It looks like a bookmark at the moment.
Like a leather bound bookmark. It's kind of
Yep.
cool.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. He puts it next to his other items away from him. Like, it's a pretty bookmark. I wonder if it makes me read better.
Oh fuck no.
Possibly.
And then
draw
he
your
draws
third card.
his last card.
This is the one that
Carolina and Ithram exchange glances.
And the last card is it's another Queen of Hearts.
Damn.
you made out very well here.
No one died a tragic, awful death.
No.
I'm really disappointed.
Me too.
Actually, I need to make a
Oh,
save.
Guys need to
Hold
go
up.
get some pants.
Because as much as Ariel does not want to roll, I feel like there's a voice of chaos in the back of her head that's going to be
yeah.
like,
Give me
you're
a second.
pulling from that motherfucking
before-
deck.
Oh boy.
I will justify a
Because
way that I can
Carolina
pull
was
from the deck of
honest
anything.
about her reason. And
a
Scuzz drew more than her.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
a
Now you're chaotic though.
Yes.
Yes.
a
Yes.
a
and that
a,
makes it worse.
a golden
Oh, yes.
a golden rapier hilt appears in your hand this time. There's no blade attached to it. It's just a hilt.
Oh, that one's good.
Oh, you got a sun rapier.
Yep,
Maybe.
it's real
Mm-hmm.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see.
So all of a sudden,
No.
Ariel just-
Gent is holding this deck, and if once Scuzz pulls his third card, that deck is away.
okay,
Okay, fine.
I do need to know which.
I mean, it's away in a
one you're
pocket
speaking
because
about,
you gave me
'cause
the
there's several.
bag of holding back.
Sorry,
yeah,
sorry,
no,
hang on,
it's
hang on.
it's a right.
So
sorry, go
Scuzz,
ahead.
the two weapons are bookmark, the dagger,
Yes.
and
Oh, shit.
and a sunblade.
Sunblade. Okay.
Rapier
Thank you.
Sunblade. Dope. Those are tight,
Yeah,
son.
And it's because it's just like, okay, that doesn't have a blade on it, but it's fancy and a bookmark, and I lost all my clothes, but I'm still here.
And all
I'm
your
still
and all
alive.
your money.
And all my money. But
Val
has
that
Scuzz
just
used any of his money?
I mean, You just bought the world's most expensive pair of weapons.
I did.
Valdez just kind of has her hands clasped in front of her face, looking at those 3 cards that were drawn, just envisioning in her mind's eye a Griffin company, a noble house, all just crumbling to the ground as that ruin card would have affected her.
Right? Yeah. Yup. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, that could have gone far worse, I feel.
We have to.
Well,
head
we
back.
didn't open a portal to hell. Let's go home and buy a new house.
Oh, we
Yeah,
have the
we have-
Well of Many Worlds for that. Mm.
Yeah, that one doesn't want to be used.
Which I find very comforting.
Let's head back.
But then again,
Ithram's looking at Gent. I kind of really want to draw from that deck now.
I know you
Please.
probably do, but we are
don't
done
make
for
someone who's
now.
not here draw from the deck.
Yeah, John, I will actually request that not be a thing that we do.
I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying that I know Ithram well enough that after what just happened to Scuzz, Ithram would have
Right?
wanted to draw a card.
Well, yeah. I would
Well,
feel bad if
yeah.
we did that with Cody not here.
All right.
Well, it's fine.
Well,
Because with the revelation of these wonderful new magic items that you've drawn from this obviously good and nothing bad could ever happen from a deck, that's where we're going to end for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.